Sports.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Friday, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for us today. And what a beautiful day it is in the late hours of last night. Not too late, depending on when you get to bed. Woj bomb, ESPN sources, free agent Malik Monk intends to sign a 4-year, $78 million deal, including a player option, to return to the Sacramento Kings. Monk had a career best of 15 points and 5 assists on his way to NBA's Sixth Man of the Year runner-up. And we all know if he didn't get injured, that award was his. It still should have been his. But Malik Monk chose you, Sacramento. Every day, Chris, we hear on this show, callers, texters, I don't know. We got to do it through trades. People don't want to stay. They always leave Sacramento. But no, the culture is changing. The organization is changing. They are on the way up. You build relationships. You cultivate relationships. And money can't buy everything. He left a lot of money on the table, Malik Monk did, to stay in Sacramento. We saw him with that jacket on, Chris, with all the Sacramento towns and areas. He loves Sacramento. He should get free golf. He should get free everything. Malik Monk chose the Sacramento Kings. Chris, how you doing?
Great, man. Yeah, Dave's got a lot of work to do trying to get all those promises that he was collecting for a minute there. So hopefully he's working on that, and we can get Malik all the free golf, all the – man, what else? I feel like he was getting free tacos at one point. Right. I mean, So hopefully Dave's working. I know he's vacationing, but hopefully he's working hard because Monte McNair and Wes were working hard over the night, and it seems like this thing has been worked on ever since the Celtics lifted that trophy. They prioritized obviously getting Malik's deal done before anything got started, and you know, I think that's the thing that I'm most excited for. Of course, Malik staying is incredible, but the fact that he gave the Kings this amount of time before the draft happens, before free agency kicks off, so that they can have an actual idea of what their team's going to look like. This is perfect. I mean, there is nothing more that you could have asked out of this signing. The dollar figure is one that's totally reasonable. Malik has a 4th-year opt-out. If he decides to hit free agency early, he can go get that bag. But, of course, the Kings are, I would say for the time being, getting a discount on one of the best guards that backup guards, but I do think he's going to enter this starting lineup here pretty soon, that you could get. And it's definitely a huge win for Sacramento. Like you said, it's not something that happens here often, just in terms of players re-signing. And that's more not even a sense of people don't like Sacramento, but just honestly, they haven't done very well in collecting players that you would want to sign up for more years for. And so I think it's another big win for Monte McNair as well, that he was not only able to get Malik in here at first at a very, very discounted price, but then to retain him as well at a discounted price, I think is a massive, massive win for this front office. And now I'm just excited with the draft coming in next week. I think it's next Wednesday or next Thursday. You know, we probably are going to see a lot more action here off the floor for the Sacramento Kings. I think we're going to see a lot of trade rumors and just a lot of fun stuff this week. And I just couldn't be more excited for it.
On a Friday, which definitely is a feeling good Friday, 916-339-1140. This is just as much Chris's show as it is my show, as it is Kyle's show, as it is your show today. We want to hear your calls. We want your texts. We want your sex. It's supposed to happen. They say this stuff does not happen. He's out the door. He's out to Orlando, the Taj Mahal of NBA facilities. No, Malik wants to stay in Sacramento. He wants to stay where he is wanted. Next season, he makes $17 million. Season after that, $18 million. Season after that, $20 million. Player option for $21.6 million. That's in 2028. We have a long time until that comes. And in the meantime, Chris, we are breaking down what this means for the Kings moving forward, what this means for free agency, what this means for the draft, what this means for trades. all the questions that I'm seeing, hey, what about this money and how can the Kings do this and that? We will answer everything throughout the course of the show. But the main theme of the show is just happiness, and it's just joy. And it's just all those times where you've seen free agents leave and you've seen players not want to be in Sacramento. This is what happens when you start to change the culture. And when you look at Mike Brown, Chris, the drama, we were just dealing with drama yesterday with the whole Pascal Siakam. Did the Kings say too much? Were they being too gossipy and it got back to Pascal? Well, bump that, because obviously Malik Monk was not worried about any of that drama. Okay, we can move on from Pascal. What does this mean for Zach LaVine? Do you still want a Zach LaVine? All of these things now take a different approach because Malik Monk really did everybody a favor, Chris. I mean, I'm drinking too much coffee these days, so I got to handle my blood pressure. But Malik Monk is helping people like me because you didn't have to sit there and worry about it for days and days and weeks and things like that. He just said, hey, I don't want to mess around with the back and forth and waiting on, oh, my goodness, did so-and-so leave? Did so-and-so leave? Do they still want me? He knew who wanted him from Jump Street, and he decided that means something to me and that matters to me. And we have these same conversations and all the time. We were just talking about it, Chris, as we talk about Brandon Ayuk a lot. The dollar amount. Oh, you can't leave that type of money on the table. Well, money isn't everything to everyone. And this tells me that Malik Monk believes in this city and he believes in this team to the tune of whatever he did leave on the table. We were hearing as much as $100 million. But he believes that this team can make some moves. And as we are pretty tough on Monte McNair, I'd say, on this show, we have to give him kudos, because whether it's on Malik to say, hey, I'm going to take less money, Monte McNair still framed it in a way that Malik felt comfortable in staying. And that probably means that Monte McNair said, if you stay with us, we will put something around you and the rest of the team to truly contend in this Western Conference.
Yeah, no, I think that it's definitely that first thing you said, absolutely. I think that this is a big sign that Malik just didn't want to wait. I mean, because especially you look at all the rumors now, and Paul George isn't going to be pursued by Philadelphia anymore, and so that leaves Orlando kind of at the forefront of those conversations. We've talked about Klay Thompson to Orlando. We haven't mentioned in a while because there hasn't been many reports, but D'Angelo Russell at one point was linked to Orlando. And I think this is a sign, like you said, Malik just didn't want to wait. He wanted to go where he knew he was wanted. And honestly, I mean, if he was just going to play this situation out, it was going to be a long, long, long wait, and Malik deserves better than that. And I'm glad that he recognized that, and he's not just going to, be the fourth option for Orlando in terms of their free agent deciding. He would have had to wait for the Paul George process to play out, and then Orlando probably would have kicked the tires on Klay. Yep. And then maybe then they go to Malik's door and ask him what he feels. And even then it might be, hey, we have a similar offer out for D'Angelo Russell. We have a similar offer out for somebody else. Maybe we're trying to trade for somebody. And so, yeah, this is Malik taking control of his own destiny. He wants to go where he's wanted. He wants to go where he's comfortable. He knows the situation. And yeah, I think this is definitely a sign that the Kings have convinced Malik that they are building towards something in the future. Malik said in his exit interview, I could leave for a different situation, a worse situation, but for more money. And we know that those options were available. I never thought Charlotte was a realistic option because he really hasn't ever said anything positive about his time out in Charlotte. Detroit, I think, was only a money factor, but that money was real. $25 million is really tough to turn down, even if it is for the worst team in the NBA. And we know that the Orlando situation was definitely something to monitor, but I'm glad that Malik prioritized what he knew. And in a league that has so much instability and so much, what have you done for me lately? The fact that he signed up to again play for this Sacramento Kings team, I think is just a really good sign for moving forward, that this team now has its core. Domantas Sabonis signed up for the next 3 years. Keegan Murray's still on his rookie deal and will more than likely get a rookie extension. De'Aaron Fox is eligible for a contract extension this offseason. I think that this is a great day, obviously, for Sacramento, but for this Kings team moving forward, we know what our core is going to be, and we can try and make moves based off of that. I mean, we're definitely going to get into what the next move is, because that's just how this business goes. Yes, we definitely are going to celebrate this, but it's also time to start thinking about, okay, we have our pieces to an extent locked in. how do we take this thing to the next level? Because even with Malik Monk on this team last year, they still didn't reach expectations. I know we believe that they would have made the playoffs had Malik stayed healthy, but the reality is they were an up and down team with Malik on the roster. So there's still moves to be made, but man, it makes it a whole lot easier to make those moves and to feel good about any of the moves you're going to make when Malik is here. And you know that at the very least, we have this core that we've seen here this past couple of years.
916-339-1140. We said it's going to be one of those days. We never take calls in the first segment. But when we open up the phone lines for you, Sacramento, we have to let you talk. Ramiz wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Ramiz? What you got for us? Let's go!
Yeah! All right, fellas. Great day in SAC, man.
Amazing.
Great day in SAC. I know you're talking about the next moves, man. We need a legit power forward. I got a trade scenario for you, man. New York Knicks. Let's go after Julius Randle. Man, just so excited today, man. One of the best days in Sacramento history. Got Monk back, man. Just looking forward to the 24-25 season, fellas.
Hell
Have
yeah.
a good day, man.
Same to you. Same to you. Great stuff. Well, and that's the question, Chris.
Energy.
You know, and we can rank the days, obviously, after that 2023
starting to like Thursdays
season.
A little more now.
Wednesdays
are your bad days. I'm sorry.
No, Tuesdays.
That's right. Tuesdays are the nothing burgers.
Yes, there you go.
Sorry.
Well, and we can rank the days where it comes to Sacramento sports history and where this falls. I mean, obviously, going to the playoffs like you did a couple years ago is going to be number one or really high up there. But this is a situation where you said it, Chris. Paul George is a hybrid free, whatever it is. Yeah. He is somebody that can be had, right? So you have Paul George, you have Klay Thompson, and then after that, was the question, is Malik Monk number 3? Does anybody have anyone else above Malik Monk?
Right.
So he didn't feel like playing those waiting games. And we joke a lot on this show about The Bachelor and Bachelorette and things like that. You could sit there and wait for someone you're interested in to say no to other people, or you can say, you know what? I know this person likes me. Let's make it work. Mm-hmm. We have a good time together.
Right.
Let's continue to have a good time. Yeah. Stiles and Watkins, we get back. More calls, more texts, more Sac Chat. Let's keep the party going on a Feel Good Friday.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going on now at Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hi, everyone. Leonard Harrington here, and I want to tell you how we make your buying experience at Lodi CDJR as easy as possible. You can come in for a visit, or you can do everything online at LodiCDJR.com. Just pick out the make and model you want and scroll through our large in-stock inventory. Next, schedule a test drive at the click of a button. If you want to finance your vehicle, you can start your paperwork online too, saving you plenty of time before you get here. And if you're looking to sell your vehicle or looking to buy, we'll give you an instant cash offer online too. At Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it easier than ever to put you into a new vehicle. It's what we do. Online at LodiCDJR.com or in person. We're right off 99 in Kettleman, where we're open till 9 every night and Sundays after church.
Prices are better at the low price center. Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Visit us at LodiCDJR.com.
We're not undoing all of
I can't
it
remember. I'm
because
sorry,
he's
caller.
staying.
Texter.
He's staying in Sacramento.
That's
We're
right.
doing both.
That's right.
We're doing both.
Yeah, run them both.
Run them both.
Why can't we?
There you go. From the 916, guys, this is a big victory for the Kings. Should the beam get lit? I saw a lot of that yesterday, Chris.
Yeah.
Light the beam. That is from Eli McFly. Yeah, I saw a lot of that. Didn't end up getting lit, but
Yeah.
it could have.
I wish they would. I know, like, it's kind of becomes a thing where it's like, okay, well, where do we draw the line? But
Because
it's
you
like,
were the beam rules guy.
no. Well, hold on. Let's relax on that. It was
Okay,
not.
mister, we should stop doing
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
No,
If
we
we
moved
want
on
to bring
from
up
that.
old stuff,
we're not-
let's relax.
No, that's different.
It was actually, yeah, it
Very
was
similar.
It was, yeah, no, I mean, it's a tough one because, like, you know, are you going to light them for summer league victories? And I know, like, obviously Malik re-signing is bigger than a summer league victory, but, you know, when Monte McNair re-signed his contract, do you like the beam then? Mike Brown, do you like the beam
Well,
then?
you said De'Aaron's up for an extension.
De'Aaron, if any reason to light the beam, they didn't light the beam when Sabonis re-signed, so I think they've kind of already established the precedent of that doesn't happen. But, like, I mean, if we trade for Kevin Durant, like, can we maybe light the beam? Like, you know, there's got to be,
Just
there
light
has
it.
to be something that is exciting enough that is off the floor to where it's justifiable to light the beam.
What's weird is they're going to do it on July 6th because legally they're not allowed to announce the signing until the
Right.
the
But I don't think they're going to
period
do
is
it.
over.
Right.
They probably won't do it, but it's lit in our hearts. How
It
about
should
that?
be, though. It really should be lit. There's. I think we all know what it is. You know, it's like, yeah. Never mind. I won't
Where are
say
you
what it's
putting
like,
this?
but
Where are
you
you
know
ra-
it when you see it.
Where are you ranking this as far as great days for Sacramento Kings fans?
I mean, it's kind of tough. I don't want to downplay. Like, it's a re-signing, so it's not as big as a playoff game
No.
or anything like that. It's not as big as Webb re-signing or anything. I mean, in terms of modern Kings history, sure, it's up there, but you know, that's competing with like DeMarcus Cousins running out of a tunnel after he got fake kicked out of a game. So,
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, it's up there.
Because we just had this conversation. I think it was yesterday. I think I am literally on record saying, Chris, the more I think about it, the more I think Malik is gone. And
Yeah,
literally,
you and everybody else.
And I had tried to be optimistic, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just
I don't remember that.
I was optimistic.
I don't remember that.
Well, we'll
I
find
don't
the tape.
remember that. I specifically remember telling people, hey, I can't even remember what specifically it was, but like people were.
It was the
Malik is
signing.
gone.
It was the Nate.
Yeah, there was
It
that.
was the
and
Nate
you and Nate were
card
super down on
signing.
that, but there was something before that where Malik had posted something or said something, and I remember I rarely tweet, and I had to go to Twitter, and I was like, Malik Monk has not made a decision in April for something that he's going to decide, and I guess it ended up being late June, but
Right.
early July. And I mean, yeah,
I think it was just his presser. I think it was honestly
it
just
might
his
have
exit
been. Yeah,
presser.
I've not heard a lot of positivity when it came to the Malik Monk signing.
I know some people were also talking about like at the Fox press conference at the end of the season when he was like,
Yes.
Malik's got to do what Malik's
That's
gotta
right.
do.
Get the bag and
Yes.
things like
Yeah.
that. Look, and honestly, in a lot of these situations, it's a defense mechanism because you want to
Sure.
protect yourself
Sure.
from believing that he would stay. A lot of people can't really hang out in the middle like you did. So you try
I
to,
don't think I was in the middle.
well, you
I
hit
was-
it well.
I was feeling good about it.
That's right. That's right. And now we're all feeling good about it because Malik Monk is staying. And the question is, why? Why would Malik Monk choose to stay? I'm sure the rest, and I know you saw a lot of the comments too, Chris, and why would he choose to do this? He left so much money on the table. And why would he choose to stay? The new CBA rules allowed the Kings and Monk to commence negotiations the day after the finals. It was really a simple presentation from the Sacramento side because of some financial restrictions. Because if there weren't financial restrictions, he probably would have got $25 million from Sacramento. That's how important we all knew or know that he is to this team. They were only able to offer him a maximum of 4 years, $78 million. They incentivized it with a player option on the final season, allowing Monk to dip back into free agency a bit earlier of his career trajectory continues. And the Kings put that max offer on the table, and Monk, whose side has clearly surveyed the free agency landscape, decided it was enough to lure him back to the Kings, a place he blossomed and wanted to remain. That is from Anthony Slater, friend of the show, NBA writer for The Athletic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it was very, very simple, straightforward. We all knew what the money was going to be. We all knew what the terms of the deal were going to be, and it was really just a question of if Malik thought it was good enough, and clearly he did. And I do think that some of this is maybe, again, Brendan, I think we had a conversation in a Kings roundtable once of like, are we sure Malik is definitely going to go out there and get the money that we think he is? And I think maybe this could be a sign you could possibly read into Malik looking at the market, because you would have to assume that his agent did the due diligence of trying to ask the question of like, hey, Orlando, what in theory would you be able to offer, and when would you be able to offer it? Maybe this is a sign that Malik's market maybe wasn't as deep as what they thought it was, or maybe it wasn't as lucrative as they thought it was. And, that's a great win for Sacramento. I think Malik Monk, especially if he is potentially going to move into the starting lineup, $17-18 million and up to $21 million for mid to high level starting shooting guard. That's great deal. That's a great contract figure. And the fact that the CBA is going to have the salary cap going up in a couple years, it's only going to look better as time goes on. I cannot think of how this is not a massive win for Sacramento, and the fact that, Malik really didn't waste any time, and they got the deal done about as quickly as you could have. I think it's just so big for everybody involved.
And I do think one thing that helped the Kings was that we all knew what it was. Malik was sitting on this, and he knew what the Kings could offer. So there wasn't a lot of, oh, this is a surprise, or this wasn't a surprise. It was really just a matter, and we have the sound of, oh, I know I could take more money and be in a worse situation, or I can take this money and know the situation that I'm in. It is a bit illuminating, Chris, when you do see some of these free agency player rankings, and it's a bit confusing due to who the names are, what the situation is, restricted, unrestricted, things like that. But this is from CBSSports.com, and when you read something like this, they have Malik Monk 10th, which is pretty interesting. They got LeBron 1, Paul George 2, Tyrese Maxey 3, James Harden 4, Pascal Siakam 5, OG Anunoby 6, Isaiah Hartenstein 7. That's kind of nuts. DeMar DeRozan 8, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope 9, in front of Malik Monk, who is at 10, Emmanuel Quickley at 11, Klay Thompson at 12, Obi Toppin at 13. So when you look at something like that, obviously everything isn't even when you look at player options and restricted versus unrestricted. But then you see that and you think, okay, I mean, he's ranked 10th. In my mind, I had Malik. I just said it. I thought he was top 3. Now, from the actual true free agents out there, because you're not counting a Tyrese Maxey. Right. The 76ers weren't going to let him walk. But it is a bit surprising to see him down there. And to that point, not to take anything away from Sacramento, but I think we may have had some level of purple lenses on, thinking that Malik Monk was probably number 1 on anyone's list. And then when things started to come out, oh, I'm interested in Paul George. Oh, and even Klay Thompson. Maybe it wasn't exactly what Malik thought. And as we had mentioned, this is a difference between a contender. Maybe a contender was, and we saw a report that the Magic were thinking to have him come off the bench, right? So the contenders, maybe it was 19 million, maybe 20 million, and you're coming off the bench, versus the Detroit Pistons and whoever. Okay, we might give you 23, 25 million, but you're in that situation. So if Malik is measuring all that, okay, the difference between 2 million and still having to go to a new place, and I got to fight with the 18,000 guards that the Orlando Magic have, I'm just going to say in Sacramento.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do think that's something that I didn't really hear talked about until, we mentioned it the other day via that report. It could be as simple as that, we thought Orlando was going to offer him the world. We thought they were going to give him the money he wanted. We thought they were going to give him the role he wanted, a winning situation that he wanted. And maybe those things weren't true. Again, maybe they were only willing to, like you said, go to 20, 22 mil and only offer him, hey, you're actually going to have the same role you had in Sacramento. We're going to bring you off the bench because we do really believe in Jalen Suggs, and we still have some young guards that we want to see what happens, and we know you're good off the bench. Maybe the market wasn't as great as what he thought it was going to be, but I think that's a missed opportunity for other teams. I mean, I'm looking at the players that you just said in front of Malik in that list. KCP at 31, I think he's more of your prototypical, like, I mean, the Kings, I think, want to have KCP as their starting guard, but I think Malik Monk is a better player than Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. DeMar DeRozan at 34, yeah, DeRozan's a great scorer, but for the role that he's going to play versus the role Malik's going to play, I think Malik is a more valuable free agent than DeMar DeRozan. Isaiah Hartenstein, I mean, if he's going to get $20 million a year, I kind of think I'd rather have Malik Monk do what Malik does than Isaiah Hartenstein hustling, bustling out there, all fine and dandy. I think Malik, I would have as, like you said, you had in top 3. I mean, if you have, like you said, you're not counting the LeBrons and the Paul George, the Tyrese Maxey, I would have Malik in my top 4, top 5 free agents without a doubt. And I think the fact that the Kings were able to, that to me, makes the deal even better. Think of it as if the Kings just signed, whatever, we'll give them benefit. We'll give CBS their credit. Top 10 free agent of this free agent class. That is not very common at all. The Kings do not usually get the top end free agents. And if you just want to view Malik as that, again, I think, like you were saying at the top of the show, this is definitely a sign to me that this organization has already changed its persona across the league. I think it's no longer, now they're not juggernauts. I don't think people are looking at them in the same eyes that they might look at an OKC situation, but we're not in the dumpster like we were before. The Kings were a bottom 5, and that's putting it lightly. They definitely weren't 25 franchise in terms of just optics, perception. And I think the fact that you get Malik to re-sign when he did have other options, forget if those options were as good as what we thought initially, I think the fact that he re-signed so easily without question, I think it's a good sign for the standing of where the Kings are right now in terms of how they're perceived, not only by players too, but by agents. Like, agents run this thing just as much as the players do. And I think the fact that the agent also saw this as a good situation is definitely a big win for the Kings.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation. How has the free agent signing situation been for the Kings since 2008? Oh, we'll let you know. TC, we see you. We'll get to you on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Stuck in a downtown meeting marathon? Need a post-work pick-me-up? Head over to Public House Downtown, the corner of 16th and L Streets. That's right, Public House Downtown, your one-stop shop for good times. With 60 beers on tap, come catch the game on 25 HD TVs. Public House Downtown serves up creative American food all day long. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, and even weekend brunch. Public House Downtown. Food, beer, sports. Want to see the menu or plan your visit? Check out their website at phdowntown.com. Find your crew and find your fun at Public House Downtown.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the All-Star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the All-Star team. Get your girth on.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use, but parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirks Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Family. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Hey, it's Dasha. Kelsey Hart and more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electrical Heating and Air, and the U.S. Marines.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Yeah, man, it's big because I can go somewhere else with a lot more money and be in a worse situation. So you never know. And like I said, I got a great agent that's going to do his job. I think my job is done. I did what I needed to do this year. And it's going to play out. I think it's going to play out in the right way.
Yes, it did, Malik Monk. Yes, it did. So, Chris, level with me here. That exit presser, right? Yes. At that point in time, do you think Malik had his mind made up? Or do you think it was, let me see some numbers. Let me see who the numbers would probably be from and go from there?
Yeah, no, I don't think he made – I think that's what my initial tweet was people freaking out about, De'Aaron saying, oh, go get the bag, and then Malik saying, I could go get money. And, I definitely don't think he had his mind made up either way there. I mean, obviously not to leave, but no, I think he still kind of knew what the process was going to be. He was like, let me go enjoy myself for a couple weeks, let my agent actually do some work and figure out what the market's going to be. I'll come back from vacation and he'll tell me what's good, and then we'll kind of go from there. I think that he truly didn't know what he was going to do until it was in front of him. I mean, I'm sure he had some basic hierarchy, pros and cons list of, okay, why would I want to stay in SAC? Is it my priority to stay in SAC? What would someone else have to offer me for it to trump whatever I feel about SAC? But I don't think he had any sort of decision made at that time. I'm sure he had feelings, but I don't think anything concrete.
Yeah, and I think the other part of this is a lot of these teams are strapped for cash, man. It's a tough time. And, we saw a report, Klay Thompson, the Warriors offered him 2 years. He wants 3 years. So Klay Thompson was one of those guys who he was one below Malik Monk on that CBS free agent ranking, but that's based on actual gameplay. That's not based on the cachet and things like that. So you're dealing with guys like Klay, who Malik probably feels like he's better than at this stage, but the Orlando Magic are prioritizing him, or it might seem like that based on what's coming out. And Malik just said, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. I know who wants me. I know who values me as a player and as a person. I like the coach. That's why the Mike Brown thing, I know I was freaking out about it because, and we go back and forth with Malik Monk and Mike Brown's relationship, because I always say, at times it makes me uncomfortable, but if it works for them, that's all that matters. And there are a lot of people that felt the same way. I mean, you know, and we're as close to it as anybody. There are a lot of people saying, are we sure they're good? Because they're just weird situations. Well, clearly they're good, and clearly extending Mike Brown was a good thing for the Sacramento Kings when it comes to keeping one Malik Monk. I mean, there's no way he was going to stay if they didn't have a coach or didn't know who that coach was going to be, unless he had a relationship, unless it was an internal hire or something like that. But no need to worry about it. Now Malik Monk is staying in Sacramento. What is it, Chris? Hagen's, right? All the golf courses that we have here on the flagship, all of the commercials. Malik, we'll go out there, man. Yeah. And any gimme. If you're
Frank
within,
LaRosa out there, man.
You know, Chris and I went golfing on Wednesday. We'll bring Chris's buddy who kept giving me gimmies 5 feet out.
Exactly.
You're good, Malik.
No, the second Malik touches the green.
Oh, you're good.
Count it. Yeah, you're good, bro.
You're good, man. 916-339-1140. Let's get out to our guy, TC. And TC, I remember you kind of felt like Malik was on the way out, but you thought the Kings would be okay. But now we don't have to worry about it.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, air horns, my boy is back, man. Hey, listen, where I was coming from is, if y'all remember exactly what I said, right? I was saying that Malik, regardless if Malik comes back, we have to make a move. That's why I was at. I was like, Malik's probably going to get his bag, but I was coming more down the line of, if he signed last night, the Kuzma trade still has to happen, in my opinion.
Right.
I love Malik back. This was big for the city. We love it. Malik, he's a $100 million man if you add all his career earnings up. Malik ain't tripping. The reason Malik was so down at the end of the season, because he knew that he wanted to be back, but he said, you know what? I don't know, somebody's going to offer me a bigger bag and I have to take it, and I don't want to leave the city, the brotherhood, my coach and the family, the golfing, whatever, In-N-Out burger, whatever you want to say. He didn't want to leave that, bro. You get me? So he signed. He's back, y'all. Listen, everybody get ready. I told y'all it was going to be fireworks. We tried to say it was going to be, this is the start of the fireworks, big dog, and it ain't over. At this point, I'm ready to trade for Kuzma. That's it. I don't want Levine. No, we don't need Levine. Get Kuzma, big dog. And if we're going to keep 13, grab Zach Edey or the boy Ware out of Indiana. That's all I got, bro. I don't want no wing. I don't want no small. I don't want none of that. If we keeping that pick at 13, Zach Edey or the boy Ware from Indiana should be the pick, dog. That's all I got.
Thanks for the call, TC. TC says, go big or go home.
People are ready for that next move, man.
Well, I mean, you know what? And that's the thing, right?
I love it.
But when we sat down today, when we were texting each other, obviously, when this whole thing came out, we said, hey, we want this show to be about people enjoying the fact that Malik Monk is staying.
Yeah.
But everybody is so juiced off of it, they still want to know what's next.
Yeah.
They don't just want to sit there and, oh, this is great, because they understand this is a nice piece, but we have to keep going.
Right.
So we want everyone to enjoy it.
Right.
But Kings fans, they want to continue to move forward. They know it's not enough, but it's a dang good start to this offseason. And as far as what the Kings are going to do with the draft, I have no clue if they're actually going to take someone. The Zach LaVine thing, we'll get into that a little bit later, because at the end of the day, I don't know if you lose Caruso. And that was the initial thing. Right. We thought most of this show was going to be about Caruso going to OKC. And now that Caruso's gone, Patrick Williams, restricted free agent, I don't see them moving off of Kobe White, because Kobe White just now popped. You got to leave somebody to keep the butts in the seats. DeRozan, if you're DeRozan now, I don't know what you do. So I think Zach LaVine is cooked as far as the Kings are concerned, but maybe not. You never know. How low will that price fall if you are the Chicago Bulls? Coming up next, we get into all the Kings and their free agent signing since 2008. You won't want to miss where Malik falls on that timeline. And speaking of timelines, we have the Malik Monk timeline, a great story of perseverance after being the man, kind of getting knocked down and figuring it all out. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we'd buy from ourselves. And right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection. See our exceptional selection of Elk Grove Honda certified pre-owned Hondas with interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
All right, Michael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento Summertime Heat is back. And of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sheer insanity mixed with adrenaline and horsepower bring you the most exciting action-packed weekend during the NorCal Stampede. This is round 1 of the 2024 West Coast Ultra 4 USA Series. All day Saturday, June 29th at Prairie City. Come join us for some of the most extreme high-speed rock racing action with drivers tackling a course riddled with crazy jumps and punishing rock obstacles. This race will be the only West Coast qualifier for the King of the Hammers. Tickets are only $30 at the gate, and camping is also available. Prairie City SVRA in Rancho Cordova. Be there.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 76 years. Look for Made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
live and local. It's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Trying to enjoy the time, or is it time to move forward already? A lot of people saying, well, why not both? I can enjoy it and still look forward. Now it's a party, as they say. And Chris has a list of the other free agent signings since 2008 and where Malik falls on that list in terms of, I guess, level of importance, skill level.
I don't have that ready, but I do have.
No, I'm just saying we will discuss that.
Okay. It's like I just have the list ready right now. This is I had our top men background check this for me to make sure that this is correct. So shout out Frankie and Brendan for at least humoring me and trying to see if this is correct. But this is the list that I came up with of the Kings re-signing since 2008. So these are players who were with the Kings and then decided to re-up for their next contract with the Kings, not necessarily like an Omri Caspi situation where Omri left for a period of time and then came back. Bobby Jackson did a similar thing, and it's till 2008. So Chris Webber's extension and things like that, not involved in this list. Should we go from 2008 up, or should we go from up back?
2008 up.
Okay, we'll go from 2008 up, where the Kings signed Beno Udrith. Many will remember the Beno stint. Beno was really one of the Kings' shining lights in their, 13 to 15 win season, where they eventually got the pick to take Tyreek Evans. And that was a very dark period for the Kings, but Beno was in a weird way a shining light, but also Beno was nothing really fantastic, and I think that was really a sign that the Kings were where they were, honestly. The fact that Beno was such a big deal that they could lock him up. In 2011, Marcus Thornton was re-signed after the Kings had traded for him the season previous from the New Orleans, I think they were the Hornets at the time. So that was Marcus Thornton, who did sign like a 3 or 4 year contract extension with the Kings, didn't end up fulfilling the rest of that contract and was traded before that deal was over. Jason Thompson, the all-time leader in Sacramento Kings games played in the Sacramento era, was re-signed in 2012. In 2013, DeMarcus Cousins re-signed to his extension. In 2014, Isaiah Thomas was signed and traded to the Phoenix Suns. That was when Phoenix tried to do that 3-point guard thing with him, Gordon Dragic, and Eric Bledsoe. That didn't work out. So Isaiah technically re-signed with the Kings, but never actually played his second contract with the Kings. So that was a stint for those keeping track of 2011, 2012, 2013, and technically 2014. Right. All 4 consecutive years of re-signing a player. The Kings then did not re-sign a player until 2019 when Buddy Hield got his contract extension. And if you remember, that was a bit of a shaky situation where we weren't sure if Buddy was going to re-sign, and then the Kings signed him to a pretty big deal, and obviously Buddy didn't end up fulfilling the remainder of that contract either, as he was traded in the middle of that deal. Rashawn Holmes re-signed in 2021, also was somebody who didn't finish out that second contract with the Kings. We know he was traded at last year's draft. Alex Len did technically re-sign with the Kings after having that season 2 years ago where he didn't play until about 8 to 10 games left in the season. Right. He obviously re-signed this past offseason and played with the Kings this season with a really good role. Trey Lyles as well, somebody who spent a season with the Kings and then re-signed last offseason. And that brings us to Malik Monk. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players have re-signed with this organization since 2008. Not a lot, and I don't think it's a sign of people not liking Sacramento or not wanting to be in Sacramento. To me, this is a sign that the Kings really just, and it's not even a sign, it just is evidence that the Kings didn't really do a great job in those thin years of getting players that were frankly worth re-signing to longer extensions. And I think now, you see Alex Len, who was a big contributor this year. You see Trey Lyles, who was a role player, and now Malik Monk, who's again another role player. That is massive, massive, massive. And you can also add Domantas Sabonis, I should add to this list, who did re-sign his contract last offseason as well. So I'll have to add that into this as well. So not many players have re-signed with the Kings. And again, it's to me more of a sign that they haven't done a good job of getting talent in the building and then having that talent play well enough for the team that you would want to even re-up with him. So obviously that kind of adds even more weight to how important Malik's re-signing was.
Does it, in a way, look, there'll always be conversations about market sizes and how much money and things like that. But I think at least a little bit, it debunks the idea of this city isn't a good spot or that city isn't a good spot. It just shows to me and illustrates that a winning culture and a winning situation can overcome at least some of those things, right? If somebody really wants to be in LA or really wants to be in a big city, then it probably doesn't matter what a city like Sacramento does, right? Sure. But if you build a winning culture, let's talk about Milwaukee, for example. And I know Damian Lillard was technically traded, but he was okay with being traded to Milwaukee because it's a winning situation. So to me, I think Malik deciding to stay, normally you stay in lesser situations for more money, right? Malik choosing to stay and for a team who, yes, like we said, if Malik doesn't get hurt, maybe they're the 6th seed, maybe they're the 5th seed. They weren't going to be the 1, 2, or 3. So I don't know if people necessarily thought that they would straight up contend this season, but we were trying to figure out what happened after kind of the down year in the West. So for Malik to decide to stay, he believes in the Kings and what they are building. And I think that is just as important, depending on the player, or just as important as the market size, the money, things like that. And a lot of times we get caught up in it, but throughout these years, the Kings weren't good. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if they were in. I guess the thing is, you don't have as much wiggle room if you are a small market. But when you are good, you still have a chance to re-sign people. LA can stink and try to convince somebody, hey, you can come here and be the king of LA. New York stunk for years, and they were still New York. So I think it just goes to show when you build a winning culture, it doesn't really matter where it is. And let's be honest here, and I know we all have our purple lenses on and Sacramento lenses on, there are still a lot of worse places to be than Sacramento, 100%. Right? Even with the different markets. So you put that together with a winning coach and a winning situation, and this stuff will continue to happen. There's no surprise that as they got better, the guys that they were able to keep were better. Trey Lyles, Sabonis, Malik Monk, because they built a winning culture. Literally, as the team gets better throughout these years, Chris, the free agents that they added got better for the most part. So I think it does. We're always going to have the market size conversations, and it'll never be New York, and it'll never be LA, and I guess it'll never be Miami. But if you have a winning culture, you can still pull people in.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, I think that's definitely a part of the reason why Malik is signing here 100%. I mean, he said he could have left for a worse situation for more money. And, I think that in the past, that would have been the Kings. The Kings would have been that worse situation for more money. And even then, we would really struggle with even getting those guys in here. So honestly, winning is the thing that attracts everybody. Like you said, it doesn't really matter what market you're in. If you're winning, people will go to OKC, people will go to San Antonio, people will come to Sacramento, as long as you're giving them a chance to do what everybody's trying to do, and that's win a championship. And the fact that the Kings are now realistically closer than they were before. I'm not going to say they're close to winning a championship, but they're much, much closer to what they were previously. I mean, I definitely think that this is going to be a trend of things to come for the next coming years. I don't necessarily know if we can say that this is just the way that things are going to be moving forward for the Kings for the rest of time, but definitely at least for the next 3 to 4 years, we shouldn't be shocked when we see names have interest in Sacramento. And I think that is a really new thing. And even with the trades, we are seeing the Kings thrown in to Brandon Ingrams, to the Zach LaVines, to all of the biggest names that are available via the trade market. In the past, to be honest, the Kings would have been excluded, not because they weren't interested, but because the players themselves would have said, hey, that's not a situation that if we're working together from team to player, I don't want you to send me to that situation. And now the Kings aren't even really a thought in that in terms of being excluded. So it's definitely a really big sign that the Kings have kind of gotten over that hump, and they're definitely, hopefully, I mean, you got to keep winning. These things can change really quickly, just as quickly as they got this they got this good reputation. They can lose it equally as fast. So, you got to keep winning, and you got to keep the good signings going, and just keep all the positive momentum that this organization has going for it.
To your guys' point, on the list that Chris assembled of the re-signings, how many of those guys are draft picks by the Sacramento Kings who only know Sacramento as an NBA home? It's Thompson, it's DeMarcus, it's
none of the recent ones.
Technically Fox. I know he's not on the list officially,
Right.
but like most of these guys are people who played somewhere else,
right?
Ended up in Sacramento,
right,
and then chose to re-sign with Sacramento.
Yes. Yeah. Malik Monk, he was in Charlotte, he was in LA. So he's seen the bright lights, and he likes Sacramento's lights just as good or better. Coming up next, we go through Malik Monk's timeline, and we have some really cool sound from his first press conference when he signed with the Kings a couple years ago. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, Sacramento, get ready to rock, groove, and have a blast with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. It's an unbeatable lineup of shows you won't want to miss. First up at Thunder Valley on June 22nd, don't miss NSYNC and Backstreet stars Joey Fatone and AJ McLean as they bring back the hits. On June 28th, it's country sensation Lee Brice lighting up the stage, all at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. And check out your Live Nation lineup on August 4th. Don't miss the Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. On August 15th, catch Donnie Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And then on August 22nd, Creed Fisher takes the stage at Ace of Spades. And coming up September 10th, enjoy the timeless sounds of the Doobie Brothers at Toyota Amphitheater. Visit livenation.com for all your ticket information. And stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
Save on rows and rows of new Hondas during our giant summer sale at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hurry in and save on our best selection of new Hondas. Each is priced to sell now. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on a giant selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords with low finance and lease options. Get to Folsom Lake Honda or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about upsizematters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to upsizematters.com. Go to upsizematters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going on now at Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hi, everyone. Leonard Harrington here, and I want to tell you how we make your buying experience at Lodi CDJR as easy as possible. You can come in for a visit, or you can do everything online at LodiCDJR.com. Just pick out the make and model you want and scroll through our large in-stock inventory. Next, schedule a test drive at the click of a button. If you want to finance your vehicle, you can start your paperwork online too, saving you plenty of time before you get here. And if you're looking to sell your vehicle, vehicle or looking to buy, we'll give you an instant cash offer online too. At Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, we make it easier than ever to put you into a new vehicle. It's what we do. Online at LodiCDJR.com or in person. We're right off 99 in Kettleman, where we're open till 9 every night and Sundays after church.
Prices are better at the Low Price Center. Lodi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Visit us at LodiCDJR.com.
Award-winning country sensation Lee Brice is back.
One of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody. You'll just hear
Live in concert. Friday, June 28th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. Lee Brice. Special guest Abby Anderson. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Lee Brice live.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from. Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
TBO for details. N7124. KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
To sign 4 years, $78 million. He has a player option after his third year. Good shout out from the SAC chat. Malik won most stylish NBA player, voted on by the fans. GQ Sports. Malik Monk is the NBA's most stylish player of 2024, as voted by you. That is from GQ Sports. If you follow Malik on Instagram, he had been posting about it a lot, and I know I saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's always there. So shout out to Malik. He beat Shai. He beat LeBron James in the semis and then beat Shai in the finals. It was the final four, Chris, was LeBron, Shai, Malik, and Devin Booker. And Malik took that one home, and that's just one of the wins that he has. A summer of Malik, and it has been a good summer so far for Malik and the city of Sacramento. And it'll continue to be good for some lucky listeners. Today at 1 o'clock, the Sacramento Kings are hosting the 6th annual California Classic Summer League on July 6th, 7th, and 9th with an expanded lineup of teams preparing for NBA action. Chris and I are going to get you in the building. Call at 1 p.m., 916-339-1140, and lock up this family 4-pack of 3-day passes. Kyle will pick the number today. That will be at 1 p.m., 916-339-1140. 1140.
A lot of pressure.
That is a lot of pressure. You're doing it to yourself. So, it's all on
pressure
you.
makes diamonds.
Pressure makes diamonds. And speaking of that phone line, we're going to keep it going here with everyone who wants to be a part of the conversation on the text line as well. And of course, the SAC chat. Want to take you down a trip of memory lane, if you will, as far as Malik Monk's timeline. We have some cool sound that we're about to get into. As Malik Monk was an All-American at Kentucky. He was drafted 11th overall by the Hornets. 4 years, he never started a game, or he was never a starter, got to double-digit scoring in his last 2 years. And if you look at his basketball reference, you can see it start to progress a little bit. Obviously, he had some rough situations there with Michael Jordan and things like that, but he powered through. He basically did a version of Last Chance U, if you will, with the Lakers. He signed to the Lakers. He started 37 games, and at that point, he averaged 13 points. Lakers only kept him for 1 year. After that, he signed to the Kings. He averaged 13 points in his first year and obviously 15 in this past year, and was right on the cusp of winning the Sixth Man of the Year award, but he got injured thanks to Luka flopping around, and now he'll have another chance, or maybe he won't. Will he start? Will he not? We'll discuss. But first, wanted to play this sound from his introductory press conference when he first signed with Sacramento.
The style of play, they play up and down, and that's what I'm used to. Especially, I'm used to how Fox play. I like how Sabonis plays. I like how Rashard plays. I really like everybody on the team, man, because they just get up and play and know how to play together. And I think I can contribute to that a lot.
And you have, Malik, and you have. Before that, he also discussed how De'Aaron Fox and Malik, they talk basically every day. And when it came out that Malik was looking at Sacramento, they spoke a little bit about it. And, just a great situation for Malik from the start. And then you have his relationship growing with Mike Brown, the whole joking about who's the one complaining about the refs. Is it Malik? Is it the coaches? And, they just have some fun with it. So I think it's really refreshing. Here's Malik on his relationship with De'Aaron Fox.
Got a call from SAC, said they wanted to offer me, man. Then I called Fox to see what he thought about it and made a decision after that. But, yeah, man, I'm ready to play with my teammate, my brother.
Wow.
What if De'Aaron was just like, nah, bro,
right,
I'm kind of good over here. Like, you sure you don't want to, check somewhere else?
He probably did mess with him like that.
He's like, nah.
I hear Indiana's pretty nice this
exactly.
time of year.
Exactly. I mean, there are a lot of teams out there, man. I mean, you don't have to follow me here. And the rest was history. Malik went on to ball out 2 seasons ago and continued it this past season, Chris. And, you just can't say enough about the guy. He was, that first year in Sacramento, he was 5th in Sixth Man of the Year voting, and he was 11th in Most Improved Player voting. And this past year, he was 2nd in Sixth Man of the Year voting and 12th in Clutch Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely took a leap forward this year, and I'm hoping, the thing that I hope to see Malik improve the most on is, I want to see him take a bit of a leadership role. He is definitely the most vocal person on the team, just in general, just off of how he is as a person. And, now that he's going to be here at least the next 3 years, I think that he can take a little bit of ownership over this situation. Obviously De'Aaron's been here for a good stretch of time. HB's been here for a good stretch of time, and Sabonis has too. But I think with Malik kind of, by the end of this contract, he'll be in Sacramento for 5 seasons, which is more than he's been anywhere else. And he'll be entering, he's going to be 26 next season by the time he's done, assuming he opts out of that player option his 4th year. He's going to be 29 years old when he's done with that 3-year contract. I'd like to see him take some ownership of this team and kind of recognize that these guys need a leader and need somebody who's going to be out on the floor a ton and going to bring this team an edge. And I can't think of a better person to do it than Malik, and for it to feel authentic, for it to not feel like it's, okay, I guess, Trey Lyles, we talk about it with Trey. Oh, I have to be this enforcer because nobody else is an enforcer, even though, I'm not saying Trey doesn't have an edge to him, but I don't think he's naturally like an aggressive guy. I think Malik can kind of provide that and give this team a version of like what the Grizzlies had a couple years ago. Like an edge. I wouldn't, I don't know how much bite is to their bark, but at least get some bark. I think that's something that this team could really use, is just a little showboating, a little bit of having fun out there. This season, again, I will say it did not feel fun. It didn't feel like the guys were having fun out there. And at the end of the day, that stuff is real. If you go on a 9-0 run celebrating and Malik doing, throwing his hands up and doing the threes and all that stuff, it has real effect. And I just hope that, the team kind of starts to take on a little bit more of Malik Monk's personality, because I think they could desperately use it.
Yeah. And one thing when it comes to Malik in this whole situation that I've kind of wondered, because we've talked about the lack of dog, and JaVale McGee had brought that up. JaVale's been on his media tour, including on the Drive Guys on this year's station. Go check it out on YouTube during the break. And
we hit it first.
Yes, we definitely, okay, Ray J. We definitely, heard some things from JaVale McGee that made us wonder, is there an issue going on here? You had Leandro Barbosa, assistant coach, talk about how they got too comfortable at times. And I've always wondered, Chris, when you see Malik Monk and you see that he does seem to have that dog in him, was there any part of him possibly holding back because he did not know if he was going to return? And now that he is going to return, I think that we will see another version of him. If he knows, okay, I don't really know what the situation is. Right. Somebody could give me $30 million, and I'm not going to sit here and bark at, what is presumed to be De'Aaron and Sabonis' team if I don't even know if I'm going to be there. Right. Now that he's locked in, I feel like he might feel like he has that freedom to say, I'm here with y'all too. Yeah. We're all on the same level now. And especially for a situation where, not to really put words in De'Aaron's mouth or anything like that, but that team meeting that was called, that was Trey Lyles. Within the team meeting, we got reports that it was Keegan Murray who did a lot of talking. It doesn't necessarily seem like De'Aaron, you can lead by example, and that feels like that's more of De'Aaron's bag. He doesn't really want to be that vocal guy, and that's fine. You can lead in a lot of different ways, but I do think you need it to come from somewhere. Sure. And with Malik Monk now staying, I think we might see more of it from Malik, which is exactly what this team needs. Yeah. When you talk about acquiring different guys, Chris, and acquiring different players, maybe not only have the Kings acquired or kept Malik the player, but maybe now they may have acquired Malik as the leader and as that dog that they possibly didn't have this past couple of seasons because he didn't know if this was going to be his home for the foreseeable future, and now it will be. 100%.
Like everything you just said, and I'll just add to it that like he is a human being, and like last year's focus, like you said, was not leadership. Like he had to focus on, I'm going to get a bag this offseason, and I have to make sure everything I do is in line and making sure that I'm doing my best so that I take care of myself. And then if, like you said, then now that he's locked up, he can kind of take ownership of the situation. He can say, okay, like I'm here just as long as you guys are. And, we know that him and Mike have a good, at least verbal relationship to where they understand each other's languages. And, he can be a nice little middleman between the two, where I don't know if that really exists right now of, I know we talk about leadership, but even just in terms of messaging, like, which, is definitely a version of leadership, but I can see Malik going to Mike Brown and saying, like, what do you want relayed? What kind of message do you need relayed? And I can deliver it in whatever kind of fashion you want. We hear Malik in his press conferences all the time, and it's, in a way, there's so many different Maliks. You got, a hype version of him. He can be really serious at times, but, he's just kind of naturally lighthearted and is really, really funny. Like just constantly cracking jokes. Right. And I think that's the kind of thing that this team needs. Like, De'Aaron Fox is a very serious guy, but, sometimes he does need to breathe a little and let things like kind of relax a bit. Right. I think that's
the only one.
Exactly. He's definitely not. Keegan as well. Yeah. Keegan's somebody who's super uptight, and we played the JaVale audio earlier this week with JaVale kind of talking about that as well. Like I think Malik is just the perfect, forget about player. Like I do think, not to make it too philosophical, but I do really think he's the perfect human that the Kings need in that locker room, just because he brings so many different sides that you need in a locker room. He can talk to everybody. I can't imagine somebody not getting along with Malik Monk, or not just thinking like, even if you don't, he's not your kind of guy, right? Like you guys might not hang out. I don't see how you don't have him in the locker room and be like, this guy's just a bundle of energy and joy that just permeates. Like you can feel it off of him. He enjoys to just be himself. And I just think that's something this team desperately needs, is a little bit of loose energy.
The question that is on everyone's mind, does this mean that Malik Monk will now be a starter? We discuss and we get your thoughts, 916-339-1140, when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys, live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we'd buy from ourselves. And right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection. See our exceptional selection of Elk Grove Honda certified pre-owned Hondas with interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
1 o'clock. Classic Summer League, the California Classic, July 6th, 7th, and 9th, with an expanded lineup of teams preparing for NBA action. That is at 1 p.m. I do not believe Malik Monk will be playing, but he will be playing.
He'll be there.
He'll be in the building.
Maybe. Who knows?
Looking stylish as ever.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Right after a nice 18, playing some golf out here. But he will be here when the real thing happens. Next season, Malik Monk will still be a Sacramento King. To this day, Malik Monk has chosen to stay in Sacramento. Didn't even want to mess around, Chris, and see what else was out there. Heard Detroit's lovely this time of year, but he didn't care. I heard Orlando is beautiful this time of year, but he didn't care because he wanted to go somewhere where he was prioritized. He wanted to go somewhere where he knew he was the number one target. Not number 2, not number 1A, not number 1B, not number 3, number 1. And he stays with the Sacramento Kings. That's right. A lot more of that. A lot more of that for at least 3 more years. And we'll talk to, we talked to Scott Moak and we want the Monk, and
we've got it in the queue.
We got it in the queue. We will see how next season goes. But if you're looking at the Sacramento Kings offseason as a checklist, Chris, this was probably the biggest box, but it was also the biggest box that you had no control over, right? To some degree, Monte McNair has control over who he decides to move, whoever, whether it's Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, the number 13 pick, future picks. He has control over that. They had no control over what they could offer Malik Monk past that 17 mil a year. And obviously it goes up to about 20 mil with that player option in the 4th year. And you get this done. But what does this mean on the court? So when this first broke, Chris, your initial thoughts as you're leaving your softball game, were your initial thoughts that Malik Monk is now a starter?
That thought didn't come for a while. I was just so excited that he was back. Nothing else really matters. He can start. So I still really haven't given it too much thought. I think, of course, that's the natural, especially assuming because he signed for so much or so little under what we thought he could get. You would assume that, hey, there might have been some promises in there. And of course, we know Malik is on record as saying he wants to start, but will come off the bench because he's a team guy. But I think it's natural to assume that that's what's going to happen. I really don't know if that's a given. I mean, you would have assumed it's been a given in the past. And I still think everything that I said throughout the regular season, to me, it makes a ton of sense for Malik to come off the bench because of just the pattern of the game. You have Fox and Sabonis and potentially Keegan Murray going off in the first 6 minutes, and then there's no let up. Malik Monk comes off the bench and gives you another pop in the jaw, and it makes this Kings offense really, really scary. And, of course you can still figure out ways of doing that with him in the starting lineup, but it does become there's only one ball syndrome. It kind of is a bit of a balancing act. And I do think it's not 100% given that Malik will be a starter. But yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that that's more than likely the direction we're going in, and especially, if we see Kevin Huerter move off, I think that's pretty much signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, and we'll get into what this means for the rest of the Kings in about 10-ish minutes. But last night, I hopped on Twitter Spaces, and if you joined, thank you for joining, and had somebody hop in to, kind of say their piece, and they said something I really just didn't see coming. And what's crazy is the way I reacted. He was surprised at my reaction. So I gave him the floor. He's talking, and he says, yeah, man, and it's just going to be great now. You got Malik coming off the bench and Keon at the 2 starting. And I said, whoa. That's what we're doing? And he literally stopped and started laughing, saying, oh, I thought that's where – he didn't say I thought that's where we all were, but I thought that was kind of the thought process here. And I hadn't thought about it like that, and I don't know how you feel about it. My initial thought was the reason that Malik, to your point, essentially had to be the 6th man was because this roster needed help. And you put Malik into the starting lineup and your bench is not good enough. So it's almost a chicken or the egg to where is it Malik's fault that there's no other bench scoring? So now he's the guy that has to get relegated to the bench. So I thought it was interesting because it's one thing if it was Kevin Huerter and at one point, hey, Kevin Huerter could go off at any moment. He could get hot, and we need this offense. Talking about Keon Ellis, now you're going in a completely different direction, and Keon can shoot the basketball. But I guess it's less about Keon or Kevin Huerter and just the thought process of, and maybe what he left out was, well, that's because we're going to have Kyle Kuzma at the 4 and not Harrison Barnes. But I am not with Keon Ellis starting, and that's it. I mean, if Harrison Barnes is your 4, I do not want Keon Ellis as your starting 2. I don't like that.
I definitely wouldn't assume that that's the route the Kings are going to go, but I wouldn't be shocked by it. I mean, okay. I do think that there's, again, like I just laid out with Malik, I think the pattern of it makes sense for Malik to come off the bench, and Keon Ellis isn't necessarily somebody who needs to have the ball in his hand, and we've seen he can hit open threes if he is open, and even if he's not open, he's somebody who can hit down that long range shot. So I wouldn't be shocked, and you get that defensive edge. And we talked about when Keon first entered the starting lineup. If you're going against Memphis, you can put Keon Ellis on Ja Morant to start the game, and then when Ja checks out, you can then go to Malik and things like that. So it still makes sense to me, but my assumption is that Malik is, especially if Kevin isn't here, Malik is going to be the starter. But it wouldn't shock me if Keon starts, just because you kind of think of him like the Thabo Cephalosha, like right. Those kind of guys, Andre Robertson kind of role where, yeah, they have a ton of offensive guys in that lineup, but they do need some semblance of defense. So yeah, I wouldn't think that's what's going to happen, but Keon did start at the end of the year, and he did play really well. So they definitely might give him the opportunity and let him lose it before they give it to Malik. And Malik's signed. I mean, not officially, but like if he's going to be here the next 3 years, you don't necessarily have to keep it in the back of your head of, oh, we better start Malik because he needs to be happy when he's entering free agency. That's no longer really a fear. So if you have him locked down, really the only fear would be that he gets so upset that he requests a trade, and even then you're in control.
Well, really what it comes down to is what we don't know what was discussed as far as the starter situation. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't discussed, and maybe Malik just wants to win.
Yeah.
If that's the case, cool. To what you said, great. If there was a discussion, going back on your word would be pretty darn bad.
Yeah, of course.
I can't see this getting that messy. I think that whatever was discussed, there was something discussed, and they all agreed to it before moving forward. So I don't think it'll be an issue. We just don't know what exactly was discussed, but we'll find out in a couple months here.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll find out sooner than that. Whenever they do this intro press conference, because they're going to do one for Malik probably in Summer League. that's going to be like the first or second question asked
Right,
is, was
right.
there any promises given to you about your role or anything?
Yeah.
If I had to guess, he's probably going to say no. I would guess that even if something was discussed, I would guess that he's probably going to tell us, no, that none of that was discussed. It was just about where I wanted to be.
Interesting.
Coming up 17 mil. He probably, if he was going to be a starter, he probably would have maybe looked for 20.
Right. Well, that's what's interesting. And I know we got to get to the other side with the Nas Reeds and the Bobby Portises of the world. He's getting paid much more than them.
Yeah. Clarkson's at 14. Even.
Right.
Yeah.
He's getting paid much more than them, but it still is a little low it's a low salary for a
less
starter.
than Harrison Barnes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it just gives everybody that ability to, okay, it makes sense. Either way, it's either a great value coming off the bench or a pretty good value if he is a starter. Coming up next, what does this mean for the rest of the Sacramento Kings? That guard logjam. How does it change? Does it change at all? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush. Makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Everyone loves to be outside, and so do mosquitoes. Protect yourself against mosquitoes and West Nile virus by following these simple tips. At least once a week, look around your yard and drain stagnant water from any containers where mosquitoes can breed. Remember to use an effective mosquito repellent, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Close all doors and be sure screens are in good working condition. At the Mosquito and Vector Control District, we're here to help. Visit us at fightthebite.net.
18 number ones. What was I thinking about? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hard Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee, Dasha, Kelsey Hart and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
Giants are grown at Sutter Health Park. The Sacramento Rivercats continue to fast-track talent to San Francisco, and you have the chance to see them here in Sactown first. Your Rivercats are home now through this Sunday. Visit rivercats.com to purchase tickets. We'll see you at the ballpark.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
It's the ride everybody wants to be driving, and Elk Grove Kia has them in stock right now. I'm talking about the 2024 Kia Telluride. And my friends at Elk Grove Kia can get you behind the wheel of a 2024 Telluride SX for only $419 a month, plus taxes and fees. Whenever I see one of these driving down the road or next to me at a red light, I just stop and admire it because the Kia Telluride just looks iconic. And not only is the Kia Telluride beautiful, it's got room for the whole family. There's a seating capacity for up to 7 passengers. Plus, it's loaded with tech. So is the 2024 Kia Telluride the right ride for you and your family? Come on down to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Give it a test drive. And just a heads up, when you're here at Elk Grove Kia, you're going to be treated very well. You're not going to get this kind of car buying experience in Roseville, Vacaville, Sacramento, or Davis. That's why Elk Grove Kia has so many 5-star reviews. Again, check them out in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online, elkgrovekia.com. 24-month lease, $0 security deposit, 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year, $4,999 due at signing based on approval of credit. VIN number 501850, ends June 30th, 2024.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool has been put away. Now's the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Fox takes the dribble to the left, hesitates, in attack mode, drives inside, kicks to the corner. Here's Monk. He launches for 3. He's got the triple. This game's tied. 1 second to go. Inbound pass to Kawhi Leonard. A 60-foot 3 hits the front rim, and we're going to overtime.
Malik Monk in a season where there weren't a ton of moments. We know Sabonis breaking his records and things like that, but there weren't a ton of moments. But the moments that the Kings did have, Malik Monk had most of them. Chris, here on Basketball Reference, it has his nicknames, Malik Monk. Did you know? Gosh. Well, one is Leak, obviously, short for Malik. The other one is God of Dunk.
Oh, yeah. That's I think that's a college one. From Kentucky days. But I think the Drive guys had asked JaVale how accurate those nicknames are, and most of them, don't really exist. So
what's up, God of Dunk?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever actually called him God of Dunk.
Well, it's funny.
Maybe
God
it means
of
something
Dunk.
in some other language. We know Malik means king in Arabic.
Oh, I did not know that.
God of Dunk.
I did not know that.
First time I'm hearing that.
Yeah, first time. First time caller, long time listener. Yeah. God of Dunk.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of God of Dunk, that as far as the acronyms, that would be God.
God. It's just I go but God for short.
Yeah. God of Dunk, but just call me God for
King
short.
God.
That's right. Well, everyone is calling Malik anything that he wants now that he has decided to stay in Sacramento for at least the next 3 years. But what does this mean for the rest of the Sacramento Kings and that guard logjam that they have? Also, 1 o'clock, we're giving away a family 4-pack of 3-day passes to the California Classic Summer League, July 6th, 7th, and 9th. So you are going to want, those have been going like hotcakes. So you are not going to want to miss that opportunity at 1 p.m. One last day to secure those tickets, just like Malik Monk secured the bag. But what does this mean for the rest of the Sacramento Kings, Chris? The number one, as we just talked about, Malik Monk moving to the starting lineup, whether he does or doesn't. Does re-signing Malik Monk mean that Kevin Huerter has to be moved?
No, I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. I mean, we've seen those two work together before in the past. I don't think there's many, if any, redundancies between the two. I think the only reason why people want to see Kevin Huerter moved is because he had such a down season last year, but I definitely think they can coexist, no problem. I mean, I think Kevin is a shooter who can play next to Malik. He definitely can start ahead of Malik, and I think it's justifiable and makes sense. Or honestly, I mean, Kevin, they could maybe swap roles. Like, I don't see why necessarily he won't be as good as Malik was in that role, but if Kevin has to come off the bench, I don't think that's absolutely insane. He came off the bench in Atlanta for a good stretch of time, so I definitely think that they can coexist, no problem. It wouldn't be ideal, but those are two. I still think that's a better backcourt pairing than what a lot of teams have in the league. So, just because, you can maybe argue that one of them is overqualified to come off the bench, that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is how players get going, that has affected really the setup of all this, right? Oh, Kevin Huerter needs a little bit more time to, get into his rhythm. Meanwhile, Malik Monk is just, you get him in there and he's
instant
ready to go.
Coffee, dog.
Instant coffee. That is correct. Thank you, Kevin Garnett. So I think it could play out in a couple different ways. But the other part of this, Chris, and obviously Malik is a creator, and Kevin Huerter is not really a creator in that regard. But the other part of this is, okay, that's just one of the guards. You still have Davion Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Keon Ellis, who we discussed. And to a lesser degree, you got Colby Jones. So with that guard logjam, keeping Malik Monk, how does that change how all of these guys are viewed? When a lot of people were high on Davion Mitchell and how he ended the season, maybe just high enough that it upped his trade, his trade value.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to make this as clean as possible, and if Kevin Huerter especially is going to stick around, which it is sounding like Kevin's definitely being shopped, but let's assume that he is still there. To me, it's not a bad idea to Davion. Sorry, but like Malik was a much better true point guard than you were, and he's coming off the bench as well. Malik is the de facto backup point guard, and I would say Keon Ellis and Davion Mitchell might have to have a training camp battle for who is going to get those secondary minutes.
I agree.
And I would probably give it to Keon. And so I think Davion, in a weird way, might be the odd man out because of this. It's probably not where your mind would instantly go, but I do think Malik really was the de facto backup point guard. And there was a significant stretch of time last year where Davion was getting no minutes and Malik was the backup point guard. And I think that's honestly the direction in which we felt like you've gotten the most value out of Malik, where you don't only get his scoring ability, but you get him in the pick and roll. We have him throwing lobs to JaVale, to Alex Len. And I just think that that's something that the Kings desperately need, is a backup point guard. And why not? Why not? If Malik's going to come off the bench, I have no problem with him being the backup ball handler. And kind of, if it does eat into Davion's minutes, I don't necessarily think that we are in, or I guess I do think that we're in a spot now to where feelings are going to have to get hurt. Like, this team is trying to, there's no more wiggle room anymore. We talked about it all last year. They erased all margin of error that they had. I think they have to win games. And to me, if I'm just looking at the roster, I'm saying this guy, Malik Monk, is our second best ball handler and our second best distributor, if not our best. He's going to get a majority of the minutes when Fox is not out there. Right. And so, that kind of leaves Davion as the odd man out. And I do think that Keon's length and his potential shooting ability, which we've already seen in a shorter stint of time than Davion, I kind of think he's going to have the edge, and Davion's going to be the third shooting guard and third point guard, which is probably not getting any, if any, minutes.
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. What changes have to happen now that Malik Monk is staying? Who is the odd man out? Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell. What changes do you want to see now that Malik is staying? Do you want to see him in the starting lineup? Do you like him as the sixth man? We want to hear from you. Chris, the more I think about it, this really is a perfect situation for the Kings as far as I'm concerned, because you can still move Kevin Huerter if you want. We know that there's plenty of value there. Everybody always needs shooting. But as far as Davion Mitchell is concerned, if you probably weren't going to win the whole thing this season anyway, and we'll never know thanks to Luka and his flopping ability, if you weren't going to win the whole thing and you have this log jam, Malik Monk getting hurt, if Malik Monk doesn't get hurt, let's say they get the 6th seed, maybe the 5th seed, but probably more like the 6th seed, and they lose in the first, second round, whatever it is. Now and Malik Monk still decides to say, we got unfinished business, right? Now you're going into the offseason and you have this log jam and you have a Davion Mitchell who hasn't played. Because if Malik doesn't get hurt, I don't know how much Davion would have been playing, because he got leapfrogged essentially by Keon Ellis. Yeah. With Malik getting injured, that gave Davion an opportunity to play, and he played pretty darn well. So I think that the end of the season, although it didn't help us as Sacramento Kings fans, it helped the Kings in that you got to put more on tape from Davion. And the last time we saw Davion play, he played pretty darn well. So I think that if this doesn't end the way it did, you couldn't even have the conversation really of Davion, or it would be more of a question mark. And I know it was only 10, 15 games, whatever it was. But I do think that it gives the Kings more flexibility to at least include Davion in conversations. Who do you think has more trade value right now? And I actually have no clue what you would answer this with. Would it be Davion or Sasha?
I would think Davion.
I would agree.
Yeah, I would think Davion, just because he's a little bit more known as to what he is more known as to what he is. And you can always convince yourself. I mean, Davion's probably 25 years old, something like that. You can convince yourself that there's more there and given more. I mean, he was never given any sort of, starter opportunity besides, maybe 10 games where De'Aaron hasn't suited up.
Right.
So you could, again, like situations like Washington just scream to me Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
Like I think Davion would thrive if he were to be involved in a Kuzma trade. And if he ends up in Washington, I definitely think that's a situation where you could see Davion be his best because he can kind of spread his wings a little and fly. But yeah, I would think Davion, just because people can convince themselves, oh, okay, we've seen him play in the playoffs. We know exactly what kind of player he is, and
Winner.
maybe win. Yeah, absolutely.
Won the national championship.
Gritty. And like, it's just, I think it's just a little bit easier to convince yourself, okay, we can find a spot for Davion. Maybe Sasha, you could think, hey, like there's a possibility that we just straight up can't play this guy. I don't think you immediately think that with Davion before you kind of, kick the tires on him and maybe see, okay, this doesn't really work out for our team. But I don't think off initial view you would have that with Davion.
Plus, if people are looking at him as or both of them as long-term options, Davion's one way away from restricted free agency. Sasha, if there's an opt-out, is 1 year away from unrestricted free agency, where a lot of people think he'll go back to Europe.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out for him, and who knows what type of opportunity he'll get, whether it's with the Kings or somewhere else. Continuing the conversation, what does this mean for the rest of Kings free agency? Are the Zach LaVine talks done? Do you want them to be done? 916-339-1140. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What drives you? At 303 Car Care, we're driven to put the best detailing products in your hands. We create every formula, fill every bottle, and test every batch of 303 at our Chicago headquarters, always with quality in mind. From cleaners and coatings to our flagship aerospace protective, you can trust that every 303 product does what the label says it's going to do. That's because 303 is driven by quality. Available at most auto retailers and Amazon.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 76 years. Look for made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Get ready to fuel your spirit of adventure with Kia Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. It's time to crank up the excitement. Calling all thrill seekers. Are you ready for an adrenaline-packed journey? Introducing the Kia Telluride, the ultimate companion for your next adventure. Picture this. Blazing trails through uncharted territories, conquering the wild with the power and precision of the Kia Telluride. With Kia Vacaville, you can join the expedition and experience the thrill of off-road exploration like never before. With its rugged design and cutting-edge features, the Kia Telluride is your passport to unforgettable adventures. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Head to Kia Vacaville today and gear up for the adventure of a lifetime during their summer sticker sales event. Your adventure starts now. Kia Vacaville, where every journey is an adventure. Visit Kia Vacaville today. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Award-winning country sensation Lee Brice is back. One of them girls that ain't trying to meet nobody. You're just here live in concert. Friday, June 28th, 7:30 p.m. The venue at Thunder Valley. Lee Brice. Special guest Abby Anderson. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Lee Brice live.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
There are some reports, maybe some conflicting, if you will, when it comes to who the Kings are now interested in. This is from Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports. Frankie Cardicelli, our Sactown Sports Kings insider, took a screenshot of Jake's article, so I will add in what the great Frankie had to say. More smoke to the Kings' Zach LaVine fire this morning, even after signing Malik Monk. Sacramento seems to be the most aggressive suitor for LaVine. Also looks like a lot of teams have interest in Kevin Huerter. So to that point, when you discuss values, everybody needs a shooter. This is from the piece from Jake Fisher. LaVine remains merely a backup option for the Sixers, sources said, but not a player whom Philadelphia truly covets with the team's ocean of cap space. If there's any suitor for LaVine that seems most likely at this juncture, it would be the Kings. Sacramento remains active in exploring trade opportunities for Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter. League sources told Yahoo Sports, with Huerter receiving a healthy amount of external interest, the Kings at this juncture are still considering trade possibilities for their number 13 overall pick in Wednesday's draft as well, sources said, with combo guard Malik Monk, a top 6 man of the year candidate, agreeing to stay with Sacramento, and his close friend, all-star point guard De'Aaron Fox. What's up?
Yeah, nothing. We can talk about it later. I mean, first off, there's a lot there for sure. And we'll have to say that be careful because things have been aggregated from this. And, you know, it's kind of become it's always a hot button topic this time of year because the draft and because of free agency and trade rumors and everything like that. This is when everyone's trying to cook. I mean, Dave laid it out, peeled back the curtain this morning. We're all looking for content this time of year. And, you know, sometimes people will take a report and then spin it, twist it, manipulate a word or two to make it sound like something completely different. So, you know, hearing Jake Fisher say there, it seems most likely at this juncture it would be the Kings. People have already turned that into the Kings are the favorites to land Zach LaVine. They are in on Zach LaVine. They are actively talking with the Chicago Bulls about Zach LaVine. And I just don't think that's true necessarily. I won't say true because they definitely could be making calls, but I don't think that's accurate to what is being reported, I should say, because I think that it just makes sense for Sacramento to be in these talks. They've had interest in Zach LaVine in the past with a different front office, with Vlade offering him a when he was a restricted free agent, offering Zach LaVine some money. I just don't think that it makes a ton of sense now that you have Malik. The thought of where is Zach LaVine going to play is kind of the one that I can't get out of my head, especially with the dollar figure he's getting paid. He's definitely going to be a starter.
Yes.
You know, you're shipping off Kevin Huerter, you're shipping off Harrison Barnes. Is Zach LaVine then your 3? I don't know.
Keegan to the 4.
And then, what are you getting back? Because I'm sorry, but if I'm giving up Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, you're probably going to have to get rid of, we'll say, Sasha in there. That's a lot for the Kings to give up. Those are 3 impact role players who, 2.5 of them are in your rotation. And you can argue Chicago, they're getting 3 rotation players. I would assume Sasha's going to play heavy minutes for them, or at least decent minutes for them. I mean, that doesn't seem fair to me. And then on top of that, when you hear the reports that Chicago has tried 15 different trade scenarios with teams to try and get off LaVine, and we heard before that the Bulls were starting to consider, we might need to give draft compensation in order to sweeten the deal for LaVine. What else do the Kings get back? Now that Alex Caruso isn't a part of the deal, I just don't know what Chicago can throw in on top of Zach LaVine to make it worth the Kings' time. Are we talking a first-round pick? Softens the blow a little bit, especially if it's a Chicago unprotected or a top 5 or 10 protection. But, I still, even then, you're really hamstringing yourself in terms of what other deals you can make because LaVine's contract is just so massive. I think, if you're bringing in Zach LaVine, you're believing that is the last piece of the puzzle. And I guess it just kind of comes down to the answer of that question or that statement of if you believe in that or not, because I'm on the side of I don't. I don't think Zach LaVine solves all the problems for this Kings team. And that's why if you're looking at trading for Zach LaVine, who makes $140-50 million over the next 3 years, versus Kyle Kuzma, who is on a declining contract the next 3 years. And Monty is the one who is always, at every time we put a mic in front of him, he's talking about flexibility and having optionality and always wanting to keep them available to make another move. To me, Kyle Kuzma just makes infinitely more sense than going all in on Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the Chicago Bulls setup, and it's not a mess, but to your point, it's just okay. So you got Dosunmu, who was actually
I don't know what he is.
Well, he was on that ringer list for players that can help a contender, but he's 6'5". We already have a guard type log jam, so I think he could be nice. But to me, that's just like Keon Ellis, and obviously I've watched Keon Ellis play more, but we don't need another 6'5" player on this team. Going through the rest, like we talked about, they're not going to Kobe White. I like Kobe White. You don't need another guard. Yeah. The only one I could come up with, Chris, because you got Lonzo, who you're not going to touch Lonzo, DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan wants to get paid somewhere, and I don't think that would work out for the Kings. And very similar to that would be Vucevic, who's going to be a free agent in 2026, but I don't know. I don't know. $20 million. Right, I know that. So
now you have to get to 60.
I hear. I'm saying I don't see it.
How?
Anybody that you would pay attention. Okay, Andre Drummond, right? But
he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So there's no answer. Can I interest you in a Torrey Craig?
Sure. Maybe, yeah.
But that makes more sense. A pick and Torrey Craig and
Dalen Terry. That's our winner.
No.
Rookie contract,
No, I'm good. That's not.
I might as well fire up his highlights with the guys that are going to get drafted on Wednesday.
Might as well.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. No, and I've seen people talk about the Kings throwing it.
You're saying you don't know about the 18th overall pick from Arizona in the 2022 NBA draft?
How tall is he?
6'7", 195 pounds.
It's okay. That's not. Torrey? I mean, that's not going to be good enough to incentivize the Kings. That's not as the equivalent of a first round pick in terms of value.
But here's the problem: it's almost similar to the Bobby Portis thing, right? If what you're giving up, that money is not going to match. So if the Bulls are looking for Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter,
they have to. That's the only way that the Kings can even remotely get close to Zach LaVine. And then they have to throw on probably Sasha on top of that. And then maybe even have to throw in a young player just to get that extra $2 million just to get to Zach. That's just to get to Zach's number.
That Caruso situation, what the Bulls did,
it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, unless they're willing to to ship off multiple first, and like multiple first, I'm like, okay, fine, Chicago. I will just take Zach LaVine and multiple first. I won't even think twice about it. Go ahead
for Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes
and Sasha. I mean, that's the thing is like because if you're throwing Sasha in there, you could have shipped done a 1-for-1 and done Sasha for, hey, we need a backup point guard. let me go trade Sasha for just somebody who's of equal value of that. Like if you're trading all the only trade packages the Kings have are Harrison Barnes, Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, Sasha Vezenkov, Trey Lyles, and Chris Duarte. If you're getting rid of half of those assets and really the most valuable ones of those, you need to make it worth our time. Because already with Zach LaVine's contract, again, there's not much flexibility in terms of doing other deals. I don't know. I just don't know, again, how are they going to make it worth Sacramento's time? I just think going cheaper is a much better route to do. And if you can only get rid of one of Harrison Barnes or Kevin Huerter, I think that's the best route to go. But, you can still kick the tires on a Jeremy Grant, things like that. I would much rather have just about anyone else. I'm a little bit torn on the Brandon Ingram situation, but I even think I would rather take Brandon Ingram and have to pay him moving forward than taking on Zach LaVine. I think Zach's a really talented player, and I've said it these past couple days. I do think he's become underrated because people talk about his contract so much, but his contract is definitely something that needs to be heavily considered when you're acquiring him, and not only just what the implications of his contract are, but how it weighs versus, okay, would we rather have Zach LaVine and just let Zach LaVine, or trade for a Jeremy Grant and still have that $11 million of assets to maybe allocate somewhere else.
And I think that's why nobody is touching them right now. And
exactly.
why it's just
no rush.
Yeah, there's no rush, and Chicago decided they care about Giddey that much that they're willing to ship off Caruso, because they were more, what this told me, Chris, that move told me that Chicago was more pressed about making sure they got whatever value they believed Caruso to have than figuring out the Zach LaVine situation. Because they knew, or you would assume that they knew that everybody thought that asset was going to be Caruso.
Yes.
And you've gotten rid of that because, like you said yesterday, they then wanted you to pay more to get Caruso. And that's not how any of this works. That's not what a salary dump is.
Yeah.
Coming up next, we continue the conversation as Malik Monk signs 4 years, $78 million to stay in Sacramento. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
With T-Mobile, you can save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, we'll pay off your locked AT&T phone up to $650, and you'll get a new 5G phone for free. Pay off via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Free phone up to $830 via 24 monthly bill credits with qualifying planning credit plus tax and $35 connection charge. Contact us before canceling to continue bill credits, or they stop and required finance agreement balances due. See T-Mobile.com.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's Make This the Summer event?
Well, it boils down to this one question. Do you want a great deal? Hoblet has it. Right now, you can save up to $13,500 off MSRP on remaining new 2023 Dodge Challenger or Dodge Chargers, starting as low as $25,595. There's just a handful left, and after this month, it's all done.
So this is it. After this month, the savings are all gone.
Yep. So if you've been putting it off, but you've dreamt about getting one of these cars, you better stop by Hoblet Dodge in historic downtown Woodland fast.
You won't find a bigger selection or better deals on the vehicle you want than Hoblet Dodge right now. Don't miss your opportunity. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$13,500 total net savings after $89.20 factory rebates and $45.80 dealer discount. At least 10 of this net savings. $25,595 net price after $64.20 factory rebates. Rebates may include $500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of First Responder Association. VIN number 607624. See dealer for details.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Any golfer would be thrilled to listen to Jack Nicklaus talk, and I had to tap the enthusiasm brakes a bit when I had a chance to interview him. But over the course of 40-plus years, Nicklaus wrote enduring words in Golf Digest magazine. Max Adler compiles some of the best. Nicklaus says, "When I putt, I hold my breath before initiating the stroke to keep my head and body still." About putting, he said, "I visualize the putter shaft as being extremely limber, almost as flexible as a length of rope, which means the only way I can get the club head to swing truly is to stroke putts very softly." He said, "The harder I want to hit a shot, the slower I try to begin the swing." About the game, he said, "The key to playing well is to understand who you are as a person and then manage that. I'm finding now more than ever that the game of a lifetime can give you the time of your life without ever striking a shot." Sounds pretty much like life itself. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Tape it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Malik Monk staying in Sacramento for at least the next 3 years. Player option in that fourth year, $78 million. We heard the amount for so much time, but was Malik Monk willing to take a pay cut? A lot of conversation about other teams throwing around some big numbers, but some of those numbers and some of those places were not viewed the same way that Malik views Sacramento and a lot of people.
We did it!
That's right. That's right, Jason Tatum. Have fun at your parade. Chris, a lot of people were saying this championship has no aura. 2 days later, no one's talking about it. It's all about JJ Redick. It's all about free agency and trades. Nobody cares. Do you feel like that?
A little bit. I think that it's a little bit of the fact that, you win your 18th title, and it's just not as special. It doesn't really, it doesn't feel new to anybody. It kind of feels like, oh, okay, yeah, like the thing that we've seen more than anything else just happened again. So I think there's some of it, and I think it's the fact that this team too, as well, isn't new to this situation. Like we've seen this Celtics team in the conference finals or in the finals, like 3 of the last 4 years or whatever it is. So I think that's the story had already been told 100 times. And, in terms of, winning a championship, I don't know if necessarily it did anything for anyone's legacy. And so there's not really many conversations to stem off of it. It's more just Boston was the best team all year long, and they were the best team at the end of the year. And I don't think anyone really feels differently about Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Al Horford, Drew Holiday, like all these guys. I think we already knew kind of where they were in terms of their legacy and their standing in the league. And so there's just not many storylines to branch off of it outside of Boston. I'm sure Boston obviously is eating off this and will for quite some time, but for everybody else outside of that market, nobody really cares.
Yeah, the only one that I would say maybe is starting a new conversation would be Jaylen Brown.
Maybe.
And getting a finals MVP, is this Jaylen Brown taking over as the number one or the alpha's alpha on that Boston Celtics team? But they are at the top of the mountain right now, even though they had that kind of bizarre start to the parade and the gym, the arena was kind of empty. It was a bit bizarre, but I know sometimes parades start with more family and friends, and then they kind of expand it. So there you go. Good for them as the Kings tried to get to the top of the mountain, and they will try to do that with their guy, Malik Monk. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation, just like John does. Hey. What's up, John? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. First of all, it's a great day to be a Kings fan. Thank you, Malik Monk. Thank you, front office, for getting this done. I was jumping around like a schoolgirl last night with my kids when the news came down. It was just great. The other thing, I was listening to you guys talking about the Kuzma and Zach LaVine thing, and I think everyone agrees that we're not just one piece away from being a contender. I mean, look at how Boston just dominated the Mavericks, even though the Mavericks were dominating towards the end of the season. So the whole thing that we have a problem with is length, and Kuzma, like you said, has a declining contract. He has that length. He's 6'10", 6'11". And so he can block more passing lanes, even though he's not the best defender.
Right.
So if we can go after him and then also get some assets as more rotational players, Sasha needs to go. He already says that he doesn't really feel like he's wanted there, and I don't really see where his role is either. And then you got Herter, lots of interest, and Barnes, and then we still have that 13th pick. And I know, Stiles, you don't want Zach Edey. So, I really feel like going after Kuzma, having the flexibility to fill out our rotational players, maybe do something with Mitchell, with the progression that he's made and how well he is a two-way player. I really feel like that's the route we need to go. Zach LaVine's just way too much money, and he's hurt too much. I think I heard Dave and Jason say that he was missing like 300 games over the course of his career, and that's just not something that we can take that kind of chance, especially for $50 million a year.
No, there's no way. Thanks for the call, John.
Yes,
Enjoy
John.
your weekend. Great stuff. Yeah, and you look at it, Chris, and you look at the measurables, and we know that Zach LaVine can jump out the gym, and really we have to see if he still can.
Have foot surgery
after this foot surgery. He goes 6'5".
Yeah.
So it's not as if he would be able to fit in, like you said, that 3 position. So now you move Keegan to the 4, and you got to deal with everything you got to haul off. I don't know. And, funny enough, John said he was listening to the morning show. And I'm pretty sure as we were getting ready to hop on, Dave ranked, I forget who the third per Kuzma and LaVine, and maybe it was Jimmy Butler. I can't remember. It was Brandon Ingram. And Dave had Kyle Kuzma, thank you, Kyle.
Yes, thank you.
Third underneath Brandon Ingram and Zach LaVine, but the Kyle Kuzma contract obviously is better. I'm very confused as to what people think about Zach LaVine, because I don't know how Zach LaVine would be ranked higher than Kyle Kuzma, and I think that, to your point, he's headed in the direction of being underrated because people hate that contract. But I like Kyle Kuzma. Close my eyes and there's no contracts. I like Kyle Kuzma more than Zach LaVine.
Yeah, I think people are getting a little infatuated with the scoring element of what Zach brings, but like he is a bit of a volume shooter. Like that dude puts them up like no other. And I'm not saying Kuzma doesn't either. Yeah, that's why Drape, he's Drape's guy, right? Drape's been championing Zach LaVine. I think longer than
I can hear him now. I can hear him now talking to Whitey. Whitey, shoot or shoot, big fella, shoot or shoot.
All right, I'll be cutting that up.
Yeah. Run that for him. I definitely like. I personally like. Just as a player, I enjoy the things that Kyle Kuzma brings to the game a bit more than Zach. I do think Zach really thinks of himself as a 1 or 2 option, and I just don't see that at a high level. I think he can do what he's done in Chicago and be a 26 to 28 point per game guy. And the crazy thing is, I mean, you look at his efficiency, I say he's a volume shooter, but he's hovering around that 46 to 50% from the field. He's been around 36 to as high as 41% from 3 on pretty high volume. But I just don't know if necessarily he's been a guy who I would think, hey, he fits into a team scheme. I think he's just a lot more of James Harden, I am the system kind of player. And, maybe it's a little bit too much of people, or I won't say people, I'll say myself thinking, okay, Kyle Kuzma, I've seen him in a role though. I've seen him with the Lakers, except that he wasn't the number one. It's probably a little easier to do when you got LeBron and AD on your team. But I just think that I could see Kuzma being a little bit more willing to take I won't even say a back seat, but understanding that this isn't his team. And, at the end of the day, he's going to get his touches. He's going to get his shots up, but it's going to be De'Aaron and Malik who are going to get those biggest shots at the end of the game. And I'm sure Kuzma can definitely find his spots within that. But I just think that wholeheartedly Kyle Kuzma's entire situation is just a better one to bet on than Zach LaVine. I think Zach's a good player, but when you factor in the injuries and then you throw in, like the caller said, John, Kuzma is a much, much bigger guy. I mean, I think people might not fully understand just how large Kyle Kuzma is. He is 6'9". He's probably got it over I would definitely say he's got over a 7-foot wingspan. And, he's got handles. He's got all the skills. He is a volume shooter as well, but he can knock down the 3 at a pretty good clip. I just think that he's somebody who just makes a lot more sense. And then Brandon Ingram, I think, is probably the best talent of them. But with that talent, you're paying for every single dollar of that talent. And I just don't know if that's necessarily, again, I'm playing NBA 2K GM mode. I'm looking for the best possible deal with the player, of course. And I think all of these guys are within this a realm of being close enough. Brandon Ingram, like I said, I still have him as number 1, but I don't think that range is significant enough to where I'm willing to pay the extra $15 to $20 million for that upgrade in talent. I think Kuzma is close enough to him, and that contract is wide enough that value-wise, I just don't see how that, if you're just looking at the player he is for the money that they're getting, Kuzma to me has to be number 1.
Well, Chris, when we return, someone is trying to take the wet blanket title away from you. And
appreciate
it. Literally in the text.
Thank you.
Also, this is to the 916. On a day like today, now I feel like this is becoming a bit and we're just going to feed into it. This is from the 916. We know you like, and I don't know if they're talking to both of us. We know you like Kyle Kuzma. You say it now every show.
Yes.
Hope he's paying you royalties. 916, if you're listening.
Well, I have to keep saying it because y'all keep
the caller.
talking.
John said Kyle Kuzma, 916. Now they're just trolling us.
No, I mean, it's fine. It's just I'm going to keep saying it because I keep thinking it's correct. I mean, like if.
Well, I got a name.
Okay.
And it's not Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
And it's not Kyle Kuzma. And it's not Zach LaVine.
Okay.
I'll tell you who it is.
Here we go.
When we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. Why do you know shoot or shoot, big fella? Shoot or shoot.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday. We're on our way to some heat this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine for the day ahead, along with light winds. Highs will peak today in the upper 90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we buy from ourselves. Right now, you'll find interest rates as low as 1.99% APR on approved credit. See our certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile, connected to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, Major League Baseball going to Birmingham's historic Rickwood Field for the very important tribute to the Negro Leagues is also a reminder of the A's history in Birmingham. The 1967 Birmingham A's won the Southern League Championship, is considered one of the greatest minor league teams of all time, and featured the likes of Joe Rudy, Tony La Russa, Raleigh Fingers, Dave Duncan, and Reggie Jackson.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with store bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
This is from the 925 before we get into my I got it cooked up for you. This is from the 925, Chris. Yeah, so that's the
is this about Kyle Kuzma?
No.
I just wonder. I'm also just wondering, like, what is people's beef with Kyle Kuzma?
No.
What is it?
I honestly think
just
it's
curious.
I think it's a bit at this point, and
I don't think it is.
Okay,
I think
maybe not.
I mean, we had somebody
but
text
people
us
hate
in and
Zach
say
Levine too.
Clearly not that much, because nobody has issues with Draper bringing up Zach Levine all the time, but we bring up Kyle Kuzma, and all of a sudden,
because he does 360 dunks.
What is wrong with it? I just want to know what is people's hesitation with going all in on Kyle Kuzma? Is it the quote from when he said, "Oh, I was going to go crazy in SAC"? Like, I think that's really what it is that people think that because Kuzma made an offhand comment after he almost got traded to Sacramento, saying, "Oh yeah, I would have." A version of I would have done really well in SAC. I think people read it as, oh, SAC would have been my team and I would have ran that thing. And I think people are kind of put off by that. And I don't know. I don't think that's overreading the situation.
I don't even know if it's that deep. I think that the whole thing that came out about him not wanting to be moved to the Mavericks and they end up going to the finals. I just think
loyal to a fault.
I think sometimes people pull it out that way. For some reason with Kuzma, it came off because the Wizards aren't very good. It came off like this guy just cares about money, and about the
declining
fame.
contract that he's on. Yeah,
right. So and like we said, I don't necessarily mind when people say, "Hey, I'm tired of hearing about this guy or that guy." I just want names.
Yes,
you know what I mean. If you're a Jimmy Butler guy, which I am not, but if you are out there, then let us know.
Or Brandon Ingram
or Brandon
Jeremy
Ingram
Grant.
guy. The Brandon Ingram thing is kind of cooled off, but I was always interested in Brandon Ingram. It's just.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris.
Well, throwing random.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. A report just came out that Tobias Harris is looking to prove people wrong.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, prove people wrong.
Okay.
And here's the thing. So 916, thank you. Ask and you shall receive.
Oh, okay, wait, but you had the 925 text as well. I don't want to.
Yes. Just quickly. 916, Folsom Mike, our guy Folsom Mike.
Hey.
This is very quick. This is very easy. Lori Marketing, cool. Keegan Murray. That's the end of the conversation.
Right. Yeah. Lori Marketing, how?
Yeah.
Tony Jones was on the Drive Guys, I think 2 weeks ago, and pretty much said it's got to be a Godfather offer to get Lauri Markkanen off of
So
the
say goodbye to Keegan. Yeah. No more Keegan Murray. If you're okay with that, you're okay with that. All right. Back to the 925, trying to be the wet blanket on the day. So I guess I'm the wet blanket.
Yes.
While retaining Monk was incredibly huge, it still puts us back at 9th in the West. And you have teams like the Thunder that acquired Caruso. We have to upgrade at least 2 positions.
Wow, that is really wet blanket. Jeez.
Coming from Chris,
less. It takes one to know one.
Yeah, that's right. Game recognized game.
Exactly. I was unfamiliar with the 925's game there. I hear what you're saying, but that still doesn't mean – and first off, we would probably push back and say they're not a 9 seed with Malik. They're probably better than a 9 seed with Malik. But also – if Malik was gone, then we're talking about them starting from a further point back. Right. And so at the very least, we're starting with where we left off last season. We don't want to take steps back at the very least right now where we're positioned. If nothing else is done, which we all know more things are going to happen, the Kings are going to improve. Those steps are coming. I think the reason why this is so exciting is because we know the basement level that we're building from, and it's only going to go up from here instead of wondering, okay, we made some additions, but did we ever actually fill the hole that Malik is going to leave? And are we just getting these additions to get back to the level we were at before, or did this take us a little bit higher? Now there's no question we're starting at this basement level, and every addition that we bring on is only going to make the team better than it was last year.
If I'm Monte McNair, right, and they're going to do this press conference with Malik Monk, and like you said, in the coming weeks or so, the first thing I say is people kept asking,
I knew you were gonna...
what would happen if Malik Monk left the Sacramento Kings. I guess we'll never know. Oh, man.
Just all the Tatum quotes.
All the Tatum
lay
quotes.
Them out. And how great is it that now they're Tatum quotes? It's like he quoted other people, but now
he's an aggregator.
He's
an aggregator of other celebrations.
Oh, my God. I guess we'll never know.
I guess
and then
we'll
just
never
walk off.
know.
It's the nicest puffer we've ever seen.
I guess we'll never know.
He really stuck that landing right there.
God, what was going to happen if Malik Monk left?
I guess we'll never know.
There's got to be some quotes from today.
How much money did the Orlando Magic offer him?
I guess we'll never know.
No. How interested? Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We just are never, ever going to have any idea. Shout out Jason Tatum for all those original quotes.
Yes.
I guess we'll never know.
Hey, it's like a sample. Everyone can sample music.
Right,
I
exactly.
just sample quotes and celebrations.
Yeah, congratulations.
That one was so crazy, though, the Kevin Garnett, because when they play it back to back,
that was bar for bar.
And you said the cadence, and I went back and watched it, how he says it, anything is possible, stops, looks up, says, anything is possible.
Yes, like,
Tatum did the same exact thing.
We did it.
I guess
We did it.
Here's a Fox deal.
Now we're just
I hit the wrong button there.
No, there you go. There's a lot of sounds going on. Coming up next, we continue the conversation.
Wow, texts are flowing in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wait, Kyle, get it ready. What if Watkins stops talking about Kuzma? I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
Wow, that was well done, 916.
That's decent.
That was well
Double
done.
decent.
Around 40 minutes until we give away a family 4-pack of 3-day passes. Kyle will pick that number for you. And we made you wait.
Yeah.
But this trade, it's coming up next. You're not going to want to miss what I cooked up. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
I guess we'll never know.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now, Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee. I love you just the way Kelsey Hart and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit FolsomLakeKia.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
NBA basketball returns to Golden One Center this July 6th, 7th, and 9th for the California Classic Summer League Games. 3-day passes in the lower level start at just $66 and include access to all 6 games. See your Sacramento Kings as they host the San Antonio Spurs and Charlotte Hornets, featuring newly drafted rookies, NBA sophomores, and other athletes competing to make NBA rosters. Visit kings.com/California Classic for more information and to buy your tickets today.
Whitey here reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
Award-winning country sensation Lee Brice is back. Live in concert. Friday, June 28th, 7:30 p.m. The venue in Thunder Valley. Lee Brice. Special guest Abby Anderson. The venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss Lee Brice live.
Great comments. I think the fans, the love they have for him, that's reciprocated. We love Malik. He's obviously been a huge part of what we've done the last couple of years. Sadly missed him at some key points down the stretch. We could have used Malik, but and not just what he does on the floor, but off the floor, his attitude and mentality, and obviously his swag and everything that Malik brings. Obviously we'll have those conversations when the time comes, but what he's done for us has been a huge part of our resurgence the last 2 years.
Are you ready for this, Chris?
I think so.
Okay.
I feel mentally prepared.
So let me set this up for you.
Okay.
This is from Brian Windhorst on First Take. Doc Rivers is looking to change the core around Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. Here's the quote. There's starting to be rumblings that Doc Rivers is looking for a change or two to some of their core pieces. Not Dame or Giannis, but potentially looking at another maneuver they could make to alter their team. I think they could be active in the trade market coming up. I think it's less likely than Philly or New York that they could make this big move, but don't forget about Milwaukee. Now, when you look at the setup, Chris, for the Milwaukee Bucks, they're a bit thin, right? They need a little bit more depth. You start looking at, wow, Pat Connaughton's been playing some big minutes, and obviously Bobby Portis. And after that,
I mean, it's let go of Grayson Allen.
Right. You got AJ Green, Thanasis, Malik Beasley, who he's a free agent.
Yeah, they said he's going to be out too.
So, they need some help. They need some depth, right?
Some milk.
They need a lot. So can I interest you if you are the Milwaukee Bucks? Can I interest you in this, Chris? All right. You ready for this?
Yep.
Kevin Huerter.
Okay.
Harrison Barnes for one Chris Middleton. That's it. Straight up. Chris Middleton he has a player option coming up at the end of 2025.
For how much? Do you know?
20, that would be $34 million. Right now he's at $29 million.
Yeah, I definitely think you'd probably have to include 13 at least into that. I think they obviously value Middleton a lot because of how important he was to their title run, and especially after getting rid of Drew Holiday. I don't know if they're going to be in a rush to get rid of like a lot of their most impact players anymore. I think it's especially for Kevin Huerter and HB, it's not a lot to give up, and that's kind of, I don't know if Milwaukee would look at that as something that they would feel like is good value for Middleton. But from the Kings side, I like it. There's still a little bit of a risk. Middleton's been pretty, I won't say injury prone, but he's definitely started to pick up a lot of nagging injuries these past couple of years. He's on the wrong side of 30. But I mean, I think it is a good addition in terms of like he would be a good mentor for Keegan, someone who's been there, done that, is really, really clutch. I mean, Chris Middleton, ask any Boston Celtics fan about how clutch Chris Middleton is. He hits some incredibly difficult, timely buckets. I like it for the Kings. I don't know if Milwaukee would have much interest in it because it's as Jay Johnson has proclaimed it as the Toyota Corolla package. Right. It's just meh. I just don't know how people feel excited about Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes as the return.
Yeah, and I know the money doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm willing, if it's a Davion, because they need a backup point guard, honestly. If it's a Davion, if it's a Sasha, whoever it is from the bench that you're not really sure how much time they're going to get, and that money still works, I'd be willing to do it. I'd be willing to go Davion and Sasha if that money still works.
I think I wouldn't say problem. I think it's just when you weigh it amongst the other guys that are available too. I just think that everybody else is younger than Middleton is, and that's kind of, I think, the appeal from the Sacramento side is that if you do trade for the K word, I won't say his name.
Say it.
But he's younger. He's 28, 29 years old. Zach LaVine is in his late 20s, I should say. And I know Jeremy Grant is in his early 30s. So it's just those guys being a little bit more in their primes and a little bit closer to the Fox and Sabonis timeline. Let's not forget both of those guys are 26, 27, 28 years old. So I think that would be the thought of maybe liking those other guys a little bit more, is that they don't have the injury, without Zach LaVine, the injury history that Middleton does, and they're just a little bit younger, and so you're getting more of their best years. But I think as a player, just face value, I think Middleton's a really good addition for the team.
Well, I think that was kind of my thinking as far as what you'd have to give up to the Bucks. Maybe you'd have to give up a little bit less because of Middleton's age and everything that you just laid out. But yeah, I think if you are, whether you're starting Malik or not, let's just say that you're starting Malik. If you're rolling out De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, Chris Middleton, and Sabonis, I like that starting five a lot.
I think another problem is too, neither of the K word is a lot more of a 4 than Chris Middleton is the other K. By the way, Chris with a KH.
What's the problem?
What's the problem? KHRIS? What are we talking about? What isn't the problem with KHRIS?
It's unique.
It's wrong is what it is. It's not how you spell the name Chris. Anyways, wow, you got really worked up over that.
If it helps, Chris isn't his actual name.
It definitely doesn't help at all. I'm seeing it as James.
His name is James, but his middle name is Christian, spelled with a K.
Don't even
KHRIS.
Is he a junior?
Sure isn't.
No. Let's see.
Sure is not. Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. No, his father's name is James Middleton.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That
one
throw
really
a
got
C in
you.
there, man. Just throw a C in there. Is all I gotta do. I can do CRIS. I can do CRIS. I can do KRIS. But KHRIS is just, that's absolutely insane.
I don't really
pick one.
Yeah, I
pick
don't really,
one.
Alan, there are a lot of different Allens out there.
Right. I guess you can go ANEN possibly. Right?
ALANALLAN. And I think I've even seen an ALEN before.
Alen.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was ALAN.
Yeah, that's
my
the
middle
classic.
name.
Yeah. But I didn't get as upset as Chris.
Well,
to help Chris's
there's a
point-
right way to spell it.
To help Chris's point, when you go on Chris Middleton's Wikipedia page at the top, it says, for other people with similar names, see Christopher Middleton, spelled with a CH.
Huh.
It's just because that's how it's spelled. It's either CR or again, KR is fine, but KH is
The H really gets you. Huh?
absolutely insane. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing at all.
Now it's going to be a thing when he's on the Kings.
It's
going to be K for Kings.
Yes, right.
Chris on the Kings.
At least that'll make sense, you know.
Yeah.
KHTK, and we can have KHRIS Middleton.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think the fear for me would just be positionally. I don't, especially in his older age too. I don't know if Middleton is. I mean, he's when I think Chris Middleton, I definitely don't think banging around in the post or being able to physically match up with a lot of fours. And then yeah, I mean, with his, I don't want to say advanced age, but
he's 32.
I know, yeah. And I mean, you're going to be getting his 33, 34, 35-year-old seasons. And he hasn't been an all-star since 2021 either. He's played a combined 88 games the past 2 seasons. He hasn't played. Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of injury, really. He hasn't played 82 games since 17-18. It's just been a while since he's been really, really healthy for an entire season. And I just don't think positionally really he's going to be much of a 4, and I have a lot of concerns about if Keegan can physically be a 4. So I kind of just think that you end up having a better version of what you have with HB and Keegan, but I don't know if it's necessarily if we're looking for an Aaron Gordon type player to use the Denver model.
Right.
I don't necessarily know if that's the guy that's going to patch up all of the deficiencies from Sabonis too, because I do think the 4 does have to have a certain set of skills that matches well with Sabonis, because Sabonis is limited. I mean, he's limited in certain capacities.
Right.
Offensively,
But
and
everything
defensively.
you just said is why I thought that it's possible that Milwaukee would be okay with just Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter. So to then throw it back at you for the other guys that we've brought up, whether it be Kuzma or Ingram, or I guess Levine is tough because of his contract, you'd be willing to give up more to get one of those guys versus if it was only Harrison Barnes and Huerter to get Chris Middleton.
I think so. I'm a little confused. I think more it's just, I just think that value wise, I mean, I think Milwaukee is going to value Middleton more than Chicago's going to value Levine, more than Chicago or than Washington might value Kuzma, more than the Pelicans are going to value, because he was a champion. And again, I do think the Drew Holiday decision is going to play a factor in this. They shouldn't be in a rush to trade off all of the people that helped them win a title. And if you're getting rid of Chris Middleton and replacing him with Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, how are those two bringing an impact that's similar to what Chris Middleton would bring if you are in those deep rounds of the playoffs? Because if you're in the conference finals, I'm sorry, but if Giannis and Dame need some help, I would much rather turn to Chris Middleton than the combination of HB and Huerter.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
That's how I'm thinking, though. I mean, Milwaukee could be on a different mindset.
And who knows what Doc is even thinking himself.
Right.
But the bottom line
is Doc in charge over there?
No, now he is. Now he is. And if you look at who they have to offer, okay, well, is he going to build something around Pat Connaughton? You know what I mean? I'm just sure. Or move Pat Connaughton.
How much better is Pat Connaughton? I think Pat Connaughton's better than Kevin Huerter. I think he does similar things and plays defense.
Yeah.
He's a better athlete.
I think he's cheaper too.
He is. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, it wasn't a no, but it wasn't a resounding yes.
I like it from the Kings side of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if the Kings can get it done with what you threw out there, absolutely. I'm for it. And I might be I might have the Milwaukee evaluation on Middleton wrong. Like, they could be saying the same thing. They could say this guy's been hurt for us, and I don't think he's going to get any more healthy. And so, yeah, we'll take a guy in Harrison Barnes who plays 82 games, champion in Harrison Barnes, and Kevin Huerter's a additive shooter. I mean, there's positives for it, absolutely. I just don't know if that's also going to be the, if word gets out that Chris Middleton is one of the names that's also available with the Brandon Ingrams, with the Zach LaVines and all these names.
Bidding war.
Can the Kings win the bidding war?
And you wouldn't, if you're going to overpay for someone, it ain't going to be Chris Middleton.
I wouldn't want that, but yeah, they might value it because Keegan directly said my pro player comp is Chris Middleton. I want to be like a Chris Middleton type, and so you could definitely see how they would again just kind of maybe it's more so about getting Keegan up to speed with what that actually means, and it could be additive in that sense for the Kings.
Coming up next, a couple trades happen. Well, the biggest trade with Josh Giddey and Alex Caruso. And Malik Monk is staying. What does that mean for the Kings in this year's NBA draft? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 76 years. Look for Made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Hey, what's up? Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I've had my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV for about 6 months now, and it's still the best car driving experience that I've ever had. And I got some news for you. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton doesn't just have cars or SUVs. They also have Sprinter vans, and they have special rates starting at 4.9% APR and an $8,000 discount on over 30 vans in stock. So head on down there right now to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton and check out their new Sprinter vans. Just a short drive right off the 5 in Stockton.
Hey, Sacramento, get ready to rock, groove, and have a blast with the Sactown Sports live events calendar. It's an unbeatable lineup of shows you won't want to miss. First up at Thunder Valley on June 22nd, don't miss NSYNC and Backstreet Stars Joey Fatone and AJ McLean as they bring back the hits. On June 28th, it's country sensation Lee Brice lighting up the stage. All at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. And check out your Live Nation lineup on August 4th. Don't miss the Outlaw Music Festival at Toyota Amphitheater, featuring Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. On August 15th, catch Donnie Osmond at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. And then on August 22nd, Creed Fisher takes the stage at Ace of Spades. And coming up September 10th, enjoy the timeless sounds of the Doobie Brothers at Toyota Amphitheater. Visit livenation.com for all your ticket information. And stay tuned to Sactown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
The PGA Club fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to upsizematters.com. Go to upsizematters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Stuck in a downtown meeting marathon? Need a post-work pick-me-up? Head over to Public House Downtown, the corner of 16th and L Streets. That's right, Public House Downtown, your one-stop shop for good times. With 60 beers on tap, come catch the game on 25 HD TVs. Public House Downtown serves up creative American food all day long. Lunch, happy hour, dinner, and even weekend brunch. Public House Downtown. Food, beer, sports. Want to see the menu or plan your visit? Check out their website at phdowntown.com. Find your crew and find your fun at Public House Downtown.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT Turbo Max. In stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive. All in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. N7124.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
"15 minutes, we are giving away family 4-pack of 3-day passes, 916-339-1140, as we celebrate Malik Monk Day, as Malik Monk intends to sign and stay in Sacramento. Sorry, Orlando. Sorry, Detroit. Sorry, Philadelphia. Sorry, San Antonio. He is staying in Sacramento. That's our guy, and he wants to show how much of our guy he is. And now with the that's right. Well, prayers were answered. I'll tell you that much. As Malik Monk is staying in Sacramento, Chris. Now all of a sudden, these mock draft people that are out there, the draft analysts, they're going to have to do some different work because you go through, okay, we got to do all these different teams. And the Kings, that was an easy one. Okay, who's the best guard available, right? Or who's a guard that we think fits what the Kings want to do? Now it's not that simple because Malik Monk is staying. So what direction do they now go in?
I kind of think that, well, can we talk about trading it? Like, I think maybe I think that's maybe the most likely route that this thing ends up going is that the Kings just trade the 13th pick. Just because, again, it has felt like they're, Sam Amick said the other day, they're not in the draft business. And that just kind of makes sense that this team that is trying to win now or get into more of a winning position right now is looking for not what ifs or what they could be, but they would benefit a lot more from knowing exactly what they're signing up for. And yes, it's exciting to get young players and the promise of what they could be one day. But I think right now the Kings are so fixated on this season and making sure that this season is a step forward, that maybe just one more year, I guess they're not going to have their first round pick next year either, but having another opting out of a young player on this roster makes some sense to me, especially considering that this is not a strong draft class. So that's probably the route that was always going to happen anyway, but it feels like it's more likely now, especially if they are going to do a Zach LaVine trade or whoever your favorite person is, trading for them, adding in that 13th pick, to me seems more likely now.
I know we keep talking about the length and upgrading at least one of the positions, but I'm curious, and it's funny because of the team that I'm about to bring up. I'm just thinking as far as teams that would really want more picks in this draft, teams that are essentially starting over. Yeah. And you might call it redundant, and I wouldn't blame you if you did. But the conversation that we had earlier this season as it pertains to DeJounte Murray. Yeah. And obviously you have Malik Monk, who is now staying. But depending on what that conversation was, and I know I'd love a wing, right? I would love a wing. But again, we've talked about the wings that are available a lot. And, if you look at a DeJounte Murray as, we're talking about Keon Ellis here starting. And I don't have any problem with Keon Ellis and Ellis Island. I love my boy Keon.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, if Atlanta, and that brings up the conversation of why would Atlanta want Harrison? I can see why they would want Kevin Huerter. He's still young. I don't know if they would want Harrison. Right. Maybe it's Harrison because, as much as we joke, young team, if they truly move off of Trae Young and they're really starting over, I don't think they see DeJounte Murray as kind of a pillar. The report was that only Jalen Johnson was an untouchable. Would you be against, and I know I just talked about the logjam of guards, but this is a guard on another level. We can sit here and talk about moving that pick, but the question also is, what are your options? You know what I mean? If the Kuzma thing doesn't work out and I still can't figure out the Zach LaVine situation. Honestly, I would be in the camp of they're both around the same size. Zach LaVine's probably a little bit bigger than DeJounte. I'd be in the DeJounte camp more than Zach LaVine.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, I think the problem with DeJounte would be that he just is a goal. Like Zach, you can in theory move to the 3.
Right.
Like if you bring in DeJounte, how are you going to play all those guys 30 minutes a game and have it make sense? I don't think you could do that with Malik, especially now that Malik's back. But I like DeJounte a lot more as a player than I like Zach LaVine. I mean, I like the two-way ability of DeJounte a lot. It wouldn't surprise me if we are surprised by the names that the Kings are considering even still.
Right.
I think that they're just in a talent acquisition mode and beggars can't be choosers. And so if DeJounte Murray is the piece that you like and maybe the package that you're offering is the one that you like the most as well, get it done and figure the rest out. Get the talent in the building, and it's not going to be a perfect fit, but maybe you can work it out. Or if not, you can maybe ship off DeJounte again in a separate deal. So I think that there's other ways that the Kings can go, maybe less conventional than the ways that we've been talking about. But ultimately, I think when it comes to the draft, like you said at the start of this, I'm just excited to see in the mock drafts teams hopefully outlets start putting forwards in there because it just makes the most sense for them. And if they are going to keep that pick, it just makes a lot more sense, especially now with Malik back, that they're going to go with some length. And who knows? I know the caller called in earlier and jabbed you about Zach Edey. It might be Zach Edey. Who knows? I don't think it's going to be. But that they could definitely. They had Zach Edey in the other day. Could be Khalil Ware as well. But they definitely might use that pick and just say, you know what? We're going to try and just get a role player. We're going to accept that person is going to be somebody who's 7th or 8th at best in our rotation. And if he's not, well, it's fine. We're okay. And we're going to make other moves anyway. But it just makes a lot of sense with all the smoke that the Kings are in with all of these trade rumors. It just feels like a trade is going to happen before the draft. Whether or not the 13th pick is actually involved or not, I think it depends on who the player that they go after is.
Yeah, and I do think what you said about having the talent in the building, that's different if it's proven talent against potential and in a weak draft.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with the Kings bringing in a guard and figuring it out later, especially if that guard is a two-way stud like DeJounte Murray. But I would have a problem with drafting a guard because if you miss – in the draft, at least miss from a position that there was a need for.
Yes, you're already going to give minutes.
Exactly. You can't miss on a guard that you don't even know what you're doing with the other guards because the draft is in a couple days unless Davion or somebody or Huerter gets moved, especially with Malik Monk staying now. If you're going to miss, you better miss on a position that you are lacking.
Yes, exactly. Because to that point, the assumption is always but if it works out, it works out, and you want good players. But think about if it doesn't work out, in order to find out that it's not going to work out, you have to carve out some minutes for that player, and then you're just going to be giving them minutes. And if it's not going well, you're going to have to continue to give them minutes to say, well, you got to work through it. You got to work through it. And hopefully at the other end, there's a rainbow. The problem is, again, they're in a position where they can't afford to give people minutes that they aren't sure is going to lead them towards winning. And so unless you're drafting somebody knowing, okay, this is going to be a multi-year project, and like we saw Colby Jones get some minutes at the start of the year, maybe we can spoon feed this rookie some minutes now, but know that they're not actually going to be a part of the rotation later. I can deal with that, but it's just too risky to me to take. Yeah, if we're taking a 2-guard, that means that Keon's maybe not getting minutes one night. It means that, maybe Herter or Monk's minutes were severely cut in order to get that rookie some time. And I just don't think that that's in the position that the Kings are in right now. I feel like they just need to bring in winning players, and every move that they make has to have purpose. And I don't know if right now is the right time to take that developmental player or that player that you just hope you kind of are buying a lottery ticket on. To me, I just feel like you got to get things through that door right now.
And you could do that, but do it at a position that you're missing.
Yes.
Do it at, maybe this is the Harrison Barnes replacement.
Take Tristan Da Silva, take Cody Williams, take any of those flyers. That makes sense to me, because at the very least, you're getting depth at that position that you didn't have depth at before. If you already are deep at a certain position and you're just adding more depth, to me, that just creates a logjam.
On the text line, someone asking the question, why do we only talk about
Kyle Kuzma,
Harrison Barnes, and Kevin Herter when it comes to trade targets? Well, let's discuss. Also, coming up next, your chance to win a family 4-pack of 3-day passes to the California Classic. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Welcome to the Tap House Restaurant at Bartley Cavanaugh Golf Course. With an array of local craft brews from a selection of 20 taps, the Tap House menu boasts freshly made sandwiches, crisp salads, and a variety of specialty entrees. The Tap House is the perfect place for a round after your round at Bartley Cavanaugh Golf Course, especially during happy hour from 3 to 6 daily. Drop by the Tap House Restaurant for scenic views, exquisite food, and a hearty welcome. The Tap House at Bartley Cavanaugh Golf Course.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
We see a lot of news about teens vaping, but teens see something else. Videos on social media that glamorize it and downplay the dangers of nicotine. How can parents talk so kids will listen? Use facts. 1. Nicotine can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can make teens more anxious. 3. Changes to the brain can be permanent. So even when it hides behind a new look, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get ready for the Kia Vacaville Summer Sticker Sales Event. This is your chance to make it a summer to remember with incredible deals on select 2024 Sportage and Sorrento vehicles. Kia Vacaville is offering an amazing 1.9% APR for up to 48 months for well-qualified buyers. Or you'll get $1,000 bonus cash on specialty tag 2024 Sportage and Sorrento models. It's the perfect time to upgrade your ride and start your summer adventures. Imagine cruising down the highway in your new Kia from Kia Vacaville, enjoying the advanced features and comfort of the Sportage or Sorrento. Whether you're planning a road trip or just driving around town, these vehicles are designed to elevate your experience. But don't wait too long. These unbeatable deals won't last forever. Your adventure starts now at Kia Vacaville, where every journey is an adventure. Visit them today and find the perfect vehicle for your summer plans. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
One more hour with you. It's been a fun one so far, and we're going to keep the fun going. We're about to give away these tickets, family 4-pack of 3-day passes. But first, let's get to Mike, who's been hanging on the line. Mike, what you got for us here on Stiles and Watkins?
What's up? Hey, I'm just gonna ask, and then I'll hang up. I won't keep you guys. Where do you guys think Donovan Clingan is gonna go in the draft? I don't think the Kings need him, but is he gonna go first overall, or is he a top 3? I'm a huge fan of his, so I'm just curious. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
He's been climbing. He's been soaring, and I mean, Chris, I think it's definitely top 3, Mike. It's definitely top 3. We've seen him as high as 1. And, you know, obviously Clingan, Alex Sarr, and Risache, those have been the 3 in some order. That happened, the Clingan rise happened, 2 weeks ago maybe?
Yeah, I don't know if it's officially hit mock drafts yet, but I've started to hear a lot of we already heard it's pretty much already been confirmed that Alex Sarr is not going number 1 to Atlanta. And so that kind of takes him out of the race. And then, it's pretty much between Clingan and Risache. And I think that there's just a lot of questions with Risache. And so it seems to me my prop talk would be on Clingan to go number 1. Yeah. I think that you just kind of know what he is. And, you know, the NBA has a long history. Look at DeAndre Ayton and Marvin Bagley himself of, when in doubt, you just kind of go with the big man. And, even if he's not a superstar, you can get some sort of usefulness out of him. To me, it makes the most sense in a draft where no one really knows what they're trading for. You know, Clingan is definitely not your typical number 1 pick, but I do just kind of think that it's going to be the evil you do know against the evil you don't. And Atlanta definitely has a ton of bigs, and it doesn't really make a ton of sense
No.
fit-wise, especially, they still got Capella, they got Onyeka Okongwu, they have a lot of centers, but it just, to me, from reading the tea leaves, it sounds like Klingon is a really good shout to go number one.
That is bizarre.
It's crazy.
From Atlanta.
It's really, really
just
weird.
Doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, but you never
That's what
know.
happens when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? When you're just like, yeah, we want to trade everybody, and we don't really know what our goal is for next season.
But you're going to trade
We're gonna be
everybody.
different.
You're going to trade everybody and draft the guy with one of the lower ceilings. But Klingon makes sense for me if Memphis
I would just
was
say a
number
low
one.
floor. I wouldn't. Or, I'm sorry, you said low ceiling. I'm sorry.
Low
Yes,
ceiling,
yes,
yeah. If Memphis was number one, where you're established and you need some help here, help there, you're already in
you're
that
already there,
contending
right.
area. Cool. We don't want to take a chance. Why don't you just take a chance if you're the Hawks?
They definitely
What do you have to lose?
Yeah, no, I mean, you really don't have much to lose. I think it's just the stigma of number one and like having it be a bust versus having, he was not a number one pick, but like he wasn't. I think the fear is that seriously, Reece Sachet, Alex Sarr, those guys can be out of the league in like 3-4 years. Like there's a universe in which that happens.
Right.
And I think it's just, hey, well, if we're thinking about that about a number one pick, how about we just make sure we take a guy that we're fairly confident. Even Alex Len was a top 4 pick in the draft, top 5 pick in the draft. And Alex Len has definitely not lived up to a top 5 pick, but he's still a useful center that you can have on your roster. So that's more me putting a little bit of my own personal feelings and bias towards it. But no, absolutely. The more typical number one pick would be to take Alex Sarr, to take Reece Sachet and just say, look, like all these guys are raw. All these guys might be complete busts. I'm at least going to swing for the fence and hope that the number one pick ends up being something that is at least kind of a number one pick, or at least a top pick.
916-339-1140. Let's get to David. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, David? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. Just real quick, if it were me coming out of this draft, I would be taking offense to the fact that they keep saying it's a weak draft. And if I were a GM drafting somebody in the first round, I'd be saying, hey, who has the most drive to come out of here, put their best foot forward, and use this as fire to be even better than they were in college?
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying, oh, weak draft, weak draft. Well, I guarantee you there's going to be a couple all-stars coming out of this draft, whether you call it weak or not. And if I interview them, I say, who has the most drive to be the best that they can be on my team, then that's the guy I'm going to go for, even if he doesn't have the numbers to back it up in college.
Yeah. It's a great shout, David. Thanks for the call. We've discussed, right? I mean, you talk about chips on the shoulders and guys feeling like, hey, they're disrespecting us. I guarantee there is a group chat with some of the prospects. With some of the prospects saying, they're sitting here saying we're trash, we're this, we're that. The bottom line is, how much can that help you, right? I mean, whatever it is, if anybody has the most drive in the world, and to David's point, maybe you try to find the guy who is, I'm not taking no for an answer, right? The same idea, and I don't know about this guy's work ethic, is at the same time, you had Josh Rosen in the NFL draft say, there were how many mistakes made in front of me, and Josh Rosen's out the league. So I think that there is something to the chip on the shoulder and the drive.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure
it's gotta
how.
Be matched with a level of talent.
I think ultimately you're going to hit or you're going to not. But I do agree with you, David. I do think that these kids feel disrespected. I'm just not sure how much that can help.
Yeah, at some point it's like, you could have all the drive in the world, but Davion, no one works harder than Davion.
Yeah.
That is a fact. And like there's just certain limitations that you can work your behind off. And look, man, sometimes you're too short, sometimes you're not skilled enough, sometimes in theory, sometimes you just don't have what it takes, and it has nothing to do with drive. But absolutely, I mean, that is something that you might, to David's point, like you might value it a little bit more in this.
It's got to be a combination.
Yes,
this guy has a high ceiling and he has a drive.
Yes,
which would drive you away from a Khalil Ware, who there have been conversations about his motor. So I think to David's point, it's got to be a combination of both. I mean, coming up, we all knew a kid in whatever sport you played who that kid really wanted it.
Yeah.
And he just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And it didn't help him. Maybe he ends up coaching his son's team or something.
Right.
But as much as he wanted it, he wasn't born with the gifts.
Yeah, the rah-rah.
Yes, so it's got to be a combination of both. But I think it's a good shout, David. If you're looking for someone and you're in a weird situation, take the talent, but also the drive. And that's been an issue with Khalil Ware, because if you watch him on tape, it's really no question. I mean, the dude can score the basketball. 916-339-1140. Let's go to Jason, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Jason? You're on Stiles and Watkins. What you got for us?
How you guys doing? Got a quick question for you guys. What are you guys' odds on the Kings keeping that pick or trading it? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Good question.
no,
That's
it's a great question, Jason, and thank you.
Yeah, it's a question of the next couple days.
We
for
had
sure.
Sam Amick on the morning show. I think that was just yesterday.
Yeah, I wonder if he knew.
Yeah.
He had an idea. He didn't drop any sort of nugget or any sort of, hey, big news might be coming sooner than you think.
Yeah.
Nothing
Well,
like
if he did know, you can tell Sam some secrets because he was a lot
probably not. He probably
on the air.
himself.
Sam said he does not feel like the team is in the business of the draft right now. I think the question is, what if you got 6 days, 5 days away? One of those two.
5 days. 5 days. It's on the 26th.
The question is, we can keep saying trade the pick. What if you don't like the offers to trade the pick? What if it's not Kuzma? What if it's not Ingram? What if it's not one of these guys that you're interested in and it's only Levine, and you decide, I mean, I kind of like Tejan Salon and I'd rather take that chance rather than just trade it to Zach LaVine just to do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to come down to, if you're making us do prop talk there, I would say to Jason, I would say I am, man, this is going to be cut, I'm sure. I am probably, and I'll just cop out, I'll say 60% that they'll trade it, 40% that they make the pick. I know that's a cop out, but I really don't know.
No, I mean, I won't do you much better. I would put it either there or like a true 50-50 where like,
but you can't do that.
I mean, it just, there's both sides to me are equally smart and equally make sense. Like, again, it's definitely a cop out. It's 100%, but I just think that, like you said, they might just not find a deal that makes sense for them. And it's not like 13 has absolutely nothing that would possibly interest them at all. It's not like, oh, we have a guy that would be perfect, but he's going at 8. And so he's not like, they're going to have their pick of, even if, a lot of the guys that we think are good for them are off the board, there's still a lot of, you can go guard options. You can go Tejan Salon possibly. You can go Tristan Da Silva. You might get Cody Williams. You might get Ron Holland. I think there's a lot of guys that you can convince yourself, okay, maybe this is somebody that's worth your time. But like we've laid out, I think the past couple of weeks, it just seems like everybody, and not just Sam, but like Dave has been adamant for as long as I can remember that they're not making that pick. I think it just makes more sense for where we think the Kings want to go that they'll trade it. But I mean, at the end of the day, the draft is on Wednesday, so that's going to have to happen pretty soon here. And realistically, I don't know. Besides, I mean, I could see the 13th pick being involved in the Kuzma deal. I don't think it's going to be in the Levine deal because I don't know why the Kings would be sweetening their end of that pot. It could also happen if it's a Brandon Ingram deal. So I guess it honestly depends on who it is that you think the Kings are going to go after. And my feelings are well known. So I kind of feel like that might lean me more towards the pick going. So I'll say 55. How about that?
There
55, 45.
There you go. And just like David said a couple calls ago, the chip on the shoulder, hey, Giannis was in a bad draft, right? So there's always that chance. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Manny, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Manny? What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Stiles and Watkins?
Not much,
man. Enjoying Friday. What you got?
Hey, man. I'm just happy that I heard the news yesterday about Malik Monk getting the extension. It kind of made me so happy that it almost made a grown man cry.
Hey, it'd be okay.
Another thing I want to say is I don't think we need to have Levine since we already have Monk. And another thing I want to put on top of that is maybe we can like add an additional player like Bobby Portis or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's Alan's guy.
No, yeah. Manny,
Alan's
friend
guy.
of the show. Thank you for listening, Manny. I have tried.
I know.
So Bobby Portis makes a measly $12 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe after next season, he has a player option, which he'll probably opt out of because he's underpaid.
Yeah.
So I tried. The problem with Bobby Portis is because of that money, his value is so much better than the money he's making.
Right.
The Bucks would say, well, no, we don't want Sasha Vezenkov and another guy to get to the $12 million, but we can't give you Harrison Barnes because it's too much money.
Yeah.
So the only way, and I haven't had enough free time when Toddler Stiles goes to sleep at some point this weekend, it's got to be a 3-team deal.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see this happening. And I have tried and I have tried and I have tried, Manny, I promise you, but I will continue to try to find a way to get Bobby Portis to Sacramento.
With those big eyes.
I have tried. Coming up next, all of you will try to win these tickets, family 4-pack of 3-day passes to the California Classic, July 6th, 7th, and 9th. Coming up next, you have your opportunity to win. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Hello, I'm Frank Ackworth, Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. The stock market has been moving steadily upward recently. Inflation is cooling off, jobs appear to be plentiful, and wages are continuing to rise, but many Americans aren't in a celebratory mood. What is raining on this economic parade? Housing costs remain too high for many. CPI came in at 3.3% last month, meaning that many goods and services are averaging costs that are 3.3% higher than a year ago. Supercore CPI was up just 1.9% at the Federal Reserve's target. Shelter costs were up 5.4% during the past 12 months. The Federal Reserve noted that the one thing that could help reduce housing costs is to lower rates, yet housing costs are driving inflation, which is leading them to keep rates at their current levels. Housing costs related to ownership have increased $18,100 annually, up 26% from just 4 years ago. The hope is that impatient sellers will re-enter the market, growing inventory and reducing housing competition to flatten prices. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through OSAIC Cafe Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. OSAIC Cafe is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of OSAIC Cafe.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
It is time. The Sacramento Kings are hosting the 6th annual California Classic Summer League on July 6th, 7th, and 9th with an expanded lineup of teams preparing for NBA action. Chris and I are going to get you in the building. Call right now at 916-339-1140 and lock up this family 4-pack of 3-day passes. Looking for caller number, Chris, you do
Give the
it.
people time. We'll say caller number 6.
Caller number
Six.
666. Sorry, Drake. 666 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140.
That's why.
6 man. That's right. Malik Monk. And the phone line's on fire already.
Woo!
Jay is back there. Kyle's got to come back and do some work later, but thank you, Kyle, for everything that you did so far. 916-339-1140. The calls are coming in already. Caller number 6 for your chance to win that family 4-pack of 3-day passes. And Jay will take care of you. Chris from the 530. Would you guys rather keep the pick or trade for a decent bench player? I think for a small market, we're better off praying for a hit on the draft unless it's a big name, basically. Or unless it's someone that you really, really like.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of risk that should be definitely mentioned for sure. Like if you are going to trade 13 and then hope that you're going to get, you better make sure that that player that you're trading for is going to be an impact player. And then, hopefully, I mean, I guess if I'm going to preach value, I should probably mention that, if you're going to trade for somebody and then they're going to be a 1-year rental and you're trading the 13th pick for them, well, maybe that's not the best use of your asset because obviously when you draft somebody, you have a certain amount of team control for, I think, 4 years, and then you can re-sign them to their rookie extension. So in theory, if you do hit on somebody, you're getting 7 to 8 years of team control versus potentially trading that for somebody who's maybe giving you 1, maybe 2 seasons. So that's definitely something you need to consider. And honestly, I mean, something we haven't really talked about because we don't really know where the Kings' mind is at in terms of the actual prospects. It does matter where we don't know how these guys have valued any of these guys. We don't know what exactly the Kings are looking for if they are going to make this pick. Are they looking for size? If they're looking for size, are they looking for shooting? Are they looking for rebounding? Are they looking for a defensive player? Are they looking for somebody who can maybe, play make and create for others out of a bigger spot? We don't really know because we haven't seen them bring in many draft prospects around that range. I mean, pretty much the only and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only reported workouts, we know that they talked with some guys at the combine, but the only workouts of guys in the top, we'll just say the range that the Kings pick, is Edey and Khalil Ware, and we saw that earlier this week. So, we don't really know if the Kings are looking at a Cody Williams, if they are looking at a Tejan Ceylon or a Tristan Da Silva. I think those are the kind of players the Kings should be interested in, but I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe they are just saying, again, we know there's no illusion that the person that we draft is going to be anything better than the 7th or 8th man. We want to take Zach Edey. Like there is a line of logic that really does make sense there and ties into how their actions have been. So we're in a bit of a wait and see mode in terms of what they would actually do in the draft.
Yeah. And, some of the other teams that are kind of floating around with these names, I know Paul George's name has come up a bit, but that's the issue there. And, there are guys that, if we're trying to stay away from the usual suspects, and now you get Malik, I shouldn't say finally, because he really did us a favor in signing so quickly or agreeing to sign so quickly. So you got Malik Monk in the building, and he's staying in the building. The Paul George conversation, he's been connected to the Sixers. I know there's some Warrior fans that have a dream world out there.
I've started to see the Photoshops.
They're
working.
Well, here we go.
Oh man, they're working extra time.
And obviously the Magic as well. I don't know. And then you got to pay him as well, or I think he's trying to opt in and then have a say in where he wants to go. We haven't really spent much time on Paul George. I don't know how the Kings would acquire him, and if he does opt in and want to have his pick of the litter. He did look quite chummy with Joel Embiid during that NBA Finals pre-show. So if there's somewhere he wants to go, you know how I feel. Same like Donovan Mitchell. As we started the show with, there are guys that want to be in Sacramento when you win. If somebody wants to be somewhere else, do not force them.
Right.
Do not force them, because I don't know how many times that has ever worked out.
Yeah. No, I mean, rarely, if ever, does it work out. I mean, I know Sacramento kind of prides itself on Chris Webber. He was crying when he arrived, and he was crying when he left because he was so sad.
But that's different because he started here.
I think that it's just a tough situation when it comes to Paul George. I just don't think he's going to want, to your point, like he's not going to pick Sacramento. If he has his pick of the litter, he's not going to want to come to Sacramento. He's going to favor a situation like Philadelphia, or, I doubt that the Clippers will send him to the Lakers, but I definitely think those would definitely be his preferences. And Miami, I'm sure, would want to kick the tires on him too. If all things are created equal, Sacramento should absolutely try and be in on Paul George. But I would also be a bit of a hypocrite if I just kind of blasted Chris Middleton for his age and his injury problems, and not mention, even though Paul George is a talent upgrade even over Chris Middleton, he's had his injury problems too. He hasn't been a perfect player. There's the pandemic P in his performances in the playoffs as well. That's a bit concerning. But I would personally be willing to forget all of that and be in on Paul George if he would want to come to Sacramento. I just don't think he will.
Right, and I misspoke there. I saw your eyes. Obviously, Chris Webber did not start with the Kings, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a different time, and with the podcast and just being so open about where he wants to go and just seeing Paul George. It would be harder to the convincing. It just feels a little bit different than back in the day, you know, and everything is so, to be honest, it actually does you a favor, right? Because if Chris, who knows if they still go through with that deal, if there was social media back then and Chris Webber is saying, don't want to be here. You know what I mean? And it's right in front of your face. If Paul George
got the podcast too.
I know. So no, I don't want the pod.
There's no podcast studios out here.
Well, there is one.
I'm sure
I looked one up. Oh. We can come in here.
Yeah.
You can come in here. We can, you know what I mean?
Perfect.
That's what I'm saying.
PG hour.
You know, PG hour once a week. Yep. And he has his whole crew come in.
Oh yeah.
And we get it done that way. Coming up next, we continue the conversation. Congrats to our winner of the family 4-pack of 3-day passes. And we continue the conversation as there is another free agent on the way. And these are the big names that were ahead of Malik Monk. Who is it? And should we have this conversation? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And here's Purdy going to throw one deep, wide for Debo. Made the catch on the back shoulder. Touchdown! San Francisco!
And a back shoulder banger for Debo Samuel.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. I hear things just got better for Chrysler's Make This the Summer sales event, Chad.
They sure did, and I didn't believe it myself. But now you can save thousands more on your next new Ram truck, like up to $19,500 off MSRP on select new 2024 kind of savings. And we're not just talking about 1 or 2 trucks. We have tons of trucks with the best savings we've had so far this year. Plus, we have over 400 new Rams available, including those hard-to-find heavy duties.
I must have heard you wrong. Did you say you could save nearly $20,000 on new Ram trucks?
I had to double and triple check myself, but yes, save up to $19,500 off MSRP on select new 2024 Ram trucks, only at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
If you need a new Ram truck, Hoblet has it.
$19,500 total net savings after $11,500 factory rebates and $8,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualify and 2 $2,500 Ram coupons. Only available while supplies last. At least 5 at this net savings.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
My good friends, Dr. Jack Friedlander and Dr. Pash in Roseville and in San Francisco are offering not only confidence, not only security, but also the ability, if you ain't insecure, to go from the roster to the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about UpsizeMatters.com. Time after time, vote after vote, circumference, or as we call it, girth, is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. And Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash can give you a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation with immediate results. It's non-surgical. It's virtually pain-free, safe, effective, long-lasting, semi-permanent, and doctor-performed. For more information, go to UpsizeMatters.com. Go to UpsizeMatters.com. Make that change. Make the all-star team. Get your girth on.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
It's the ride everybody wants to be driving, and Elk Grove Kia has them in stock right now. I'm talking about the 2024 Kia Telluride. And my friends at Elk Grove Kia can get you behind the wheel of a 2024 Telluride SX for only $419 a month, plus taxes and fees. Whenever I see one of these driving down the road or next to me at a red light, I just stop and admire it because the Kia Telluride just looks iconic. And not only is the Kia Telluride beautiful, it's got room for the whole family. There's a seating capacity for up to 7 passengers. Plus, it's loaded with tech. So is the 2024 Kia Telluride the right ride for you and your family? Come on down to Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall. Give it a test drive. And just a heads up, when you're here at Elk Grove Kia, you're going to be treated very well. You're not going to get this kind of car buying experience in Roseville, Vacaville, Sacramento, or Davis. That's why Elk Grove Kia has so many 5-star reviews. Again, check them out in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online, elkgrovekia.com. 24-month lease, $0 security deposit, 20 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year, $4,999 due at signing based on approval of credit. VIN number 501850, ends June 30th, 2024.
18 number ones. What was I thinking? Countless ACM and CMA awards. Sold out world tours. And now Dierks Bentley is coming to Sacramento for Country in the Park 2. September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo with Parmalee. I love you just the way Dasha, Kelsey Hart and more, plus line dancing, food trucks, and more. Tickets available now at CITVFest.com.
Brought to you by Bonnie Electrical Heating and Air and the U.S. Marines.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Congrats to our winner. 30 more minutes with you. Shout outs and closeouts coming up. That is at 1:45. We also have some sound from the Rickwood game last night from Rickwood Field, and it was an outstanding night for the game of baseball. So we have some sound for you as we continue to break down all things Malik Monk and what that means for the Kings moving forward. From the 209, let's get E40 to sample Here Comes the Funk and turn it into our Monk anthem. Yeah, I don't know where E40 is at this point.
I don't know where he is with this. Yeah, with his Kings feelings.
Feelings.
I know he loves Sacramento, but yeah, after what happened at the playoffs a couple of years ago, I don't, because it used to be a second home for him, man. Like he would come to the games, no problem. But yeah, I definitely think I'm sure 40 would be able to look over it, but it did seem like it wasn't a great time that he had here at Golden One a couple of years ago.
Right. They need to put him up in the nicest suite. He likes to be down with the.
He likes
people,
to be
though.
right next to the bench.
Yeah, you got to figure that out.
Yeah, you got to
figure that out. But that's not a bad idea. 209.
No, it's not at all.
It's not a bad idea. Is it a good or bad idea to be in the business of LeBron James, who is expected to opt out? And these are some of the names when. Malik was ranked 10 on the free agent list, according to CBS Sports. They had LeBron in front of him. They had Tyrese Maxey in front of him. I think they had Paul George in front of him too, because if you have a player option. And I don't know what to do with LeBron, man. A lot has come out during these last couple days. Now he's not tripping off of playing with Bronny. Yeah. That's not connected anymore. This is from,
I think it said he's off that.
Yes,
it was like the direct quote.
That's right. This is from Dan Woik. The coaching hire is the first step in an offseason during which the team is facing crucial roster decisions, particularly with James. James is expected to opt out of his current contract, although the sense is he'll re-sign with the Lakers. He will be an unrestricted free agent if he declines his player option. Again, this is where we just get, for lack of a better term, realistic about the situation. I don't think that LeBron would come to Sacramento. No. They've already said, and honestly, Rich Paul, he is something else, man. Everything he said about Bronny, we want a team that really wants him, all of this. He also debunked the Suns situation, and he said that LeBron ain't playing. He's
not going to Phoenix,
or it's
not a package deal.
Well, that he wouldn't play on a minimum. LeBron doesn't need any more money. Just play on a minimum so you can go get another ring somewhere. Rich Paul said he's not doing that. So if he's not doing that, then there's really nothing to talk about as far as we are concerned.
Yeah.
And it basically just sounds like he's going back to the Lakers.
Kind of sounds like it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Philly will be a late swoop. I know they have obviously a ton of money to work with. And I think there was a picture that got floated around the other day of LeBron at a dinner with maybe some Philly people. So, or like Philly, 76ers execs and things like that. So there is a little bit of smoke behind there. Maybe that could be, it could all be a leverage play for LeBron. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think he wants to, uproot his family and go anywhere. They seem very comfortable in LA. I know Bryce is probably, I think he's entering like later high school stage.
Yeah.
So he
That'd
probably
be a rough
wants to
time
keep
to
them.
move.
Really rough time to
Yeah.
move for sure. And even if the family stays out there, Braun's a huge family guy. So I definitely don't think he has intentions of going anywhere else except for LA. But he's got to play his game too. He's still trying to get this money, and the Lakers have to show him that Braun has done it at every single stop. He signs these short contracts to kind of put some pressure on these teams to say, you're not just going to have me and then waste me. I'm going to explore my options as well. I just don't think he's going to leave LA. It just makes so much sense for him to stay there. And, honestly, like they did hire his podcast mate. So you might as well go over there and see how it works out. And I don't necessarily think that Bronny is 100% going to be a Laker. It does seem like there are some teams that are legitimately interested. And even if it is just to kind of hold it over the Lakers' head, I do kind of think that that LeBron will actually be happy no matter where Bronny goes. I don't think he has to go to the Lakers, but if he's available at 55, he's definitely going to the Lakers.
Yeah, and this whole Bronny thing, I don't know. It just has kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I really, and again, you have to, whatever is happening, that, I shouldn't say I'd like to think that Bronny okayed what Rich Paul is saying,
right,
but maybe he felt like he didn't really have a say. If everybody they're sitting in a room and everyone's saying, hey, Bronny, this is what we're thinking of doing. Are you cool with that? It would be really hard if I'm Bronny to say,
for sure.
I don't really need you to do that.
Especially at 17, 18 years old.
Exactly. But the things that they're saying and, how they're initially trying to say, well, it's not Nepo, it's not this, it's not that. But then you have a guy who, is a second rounder, not making demands, but saying he's not doing this, he's not doing that, turning down teams that are asking him to work out. It bugs me. I got to be honest. I'm not a fan of it. I don't want to deal with the circus, especially for a player who we don't even know if he's going to be an NBA player, to be completely honest with you. So I think it's probably leaving a bad taste in everyone's mouth. I don't know if they're calling LeBron's bluff on not caring about where Bronny goes, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to deal with it. Rich Paul and this whole situation, I'm off it. Just like LeBron is off it. That's what I will say.
No, for sure. I'm right there with you. Like, I think that it's been kind of gross. And, the fact that, like you said, they're trying to act like, no, this isn't a Nepo situation. Bronny's a prospect just like everybody else, but we're going to hold back a second-round pick from working out from teams. Like, and the fact that they've tried to, do this thing of Phoenix is interested in him too. And so that makes it seem like it's not only the Lakers that have this interest. Well, the GM of Phoenix is one of LeBron's best friends in James Jones. They won championships together in Miami, and you're tripping if you don't think that LeBron or Rich Paul has some sort of input in that. I definitely think that that's part of them trying to massage the fact that the Lakers are so interested in Bronny, that it's no, it's not just the Lakers. There's multiple teams, and Rich Paul did something I've never seen or heard anyone do before ever. And he specifically said, no, it's not just those two teams. Minnesota has interest at 37. He said there's two other teams that he directly listed with their pick and saying, no, they're interested in Bronny at those things. It's just been such a weird process. And you're right. Like if I'm not, Phoenix can go ahead and build their own grave or whatever, or dig their own grave. But if I'm any team that isn't Phoenix or LA, I'm saying there's no way. There's no way I'm taking this kid. Even if he does go somehow undrafted, I'm not bringing him in as a free agent because, frankly, you're right. The circus that's going to follow is going to be an absolute nightmare. And if you don't play him, you better believe Rich Paul is going to hear from you. And the worst part is, look, I mean, LeBron James is Rich Paul's number one client, and he's the reason Rich Paul is an agent in the first place.
Right.
If you treat LeBron's son wrong, something tells me Rich Paul is not going to forget something like that, and that could end up hurting that relationship in the future. And Rich Paul's client list is getting pretty big these days. And so that's somebody who, unfortunately, agents run this thing just as much as anybody else, and you don't want to upset agents and completely cast yourself off from somebody's entire client list. And that's unfortunately how this league works now.
This is what Rich Paul had to say. This was a couple days ago. LeBron James is off the idea of playing with Bronny, Rich Paul tells ESPN. If he does, he does. But there's no deal that if LA drafts Bronny at 55, LeBron will resign. If that was the case, I'd force LA to take him at 17. I'd force LA.
So you're saying that I could do it if I wanted to in theory. I'm not going to force them to take him at 17, but I will force them to take him at 55.
Right. He goes on to say the Lakers can draft Bronny and LeBron may not re-sign. LeBron is also not going to Phoenix for the minimum. Let's squash that now.
What are they talking? Is there if Bronny gets drafted by the Lakers, there is a 0% chance that LeBron does not immediately re-sign. Yeah. There is no way the Lakers would say, yeah, we're kind of into this LeBron James Jr. guy, and his dad's kind of eating into his minutes. No way.
Right. Well, what is the play here? Because it sounds like is this just a play for LeBron to make more money? To opt out and then just opt right back in?
Yeah, in terms of that.
Or to make sure Bronny gets drafted by the Lakers?
It could be all of it. I mean, it could just be the mystique of we don't know, right? It's let's not take the chance. Let's not let that be an even possibility. Let's just take Bronny to make sure that we lock down that bronze spot.
And you know what? We did this a couple days ago.
Insane.
We did this a couple days ago with the Celtics and how we were joking about some of the guys who didn't really get any time, but they're going to get a ring, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to get a ring. They're enjoying themselves at the parade right now. It's probably over now because Eastern time. If you're Bronny and your name gets called at 55, and I don't know how much I would care because I just want to get my name called, but Bronny seems like a pretty humble dude. Yeah. Is he really going to look himself in the mirror and say, man, all that hard work I did to get drafted? Or is he going to look in the mirror and say,
I was given an opportunity.
My pops did help me out. Let me not mess this up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it doesn't matter. Nepotism happens on all levels, and I'm here for it. I hope one day my kids are Nepo babies. But yeah, the idea that I told you I'd do this, Bronny, looking himself in the mirror.
No, yeah,
it's just not the same.
No, definitely. I mean, yeah, and like you said, Bronny seems like a pretty self-aware, humble guy. Like I think he understands that he's definitely being helped by the fact that his name is LeBron James Jr. and everything that comes along with that. I'm sure it does kind of take, even if it's not looking in the mirror, I think it's, the enjoyment, the celebration, the elation of like, oh my God, I did it. I made it. All the years of there's never really been a question of if Bronny was going to be in the NBA or not. Like it always felt like from the time he walked into Sierra Canyon, people were just waiting for Bronny to enter the draft. And so there's not there were so many days where I was in the gym and I wasn't sure what I was doing. I wasn't sure if it was all going to work out. And here I am standing here today and the dream is realized. We don't even honestly know, and I'm sure a portion of it is his dream, but we don't really know if this was ever Bronny's dream. I know he loves basketball.
Right.
I know he's been, he's very into video games and all that stuff. He's part of FaZe Clan and all that stuff. But I just feel like it's not going to feel the same as anybody else getting the 55th pick. That's going to be wow, I wasn't sure if I was going to get drafted, and just to hear my name called was an absolute blessing. It's just going to be all right, I know where I'm at now, time to get to work. And, that's fine. It's whatever. But, yeah, definitely it's not going to be the same for him as what it probably should be.
Coming up next, we have shout-outs and closeouts. We give our final thoughts on Malik Monk staying in Sacramento and a little bit of sound from Barry Bonds and what he would do against baseball legend Satchel Paige. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win.
He's got the triple. Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill up. That's promo code GIFT.
The news on vapes talks a lot about the technology and teen use, but parents need to know more about the dangers of nicotine. So know this. 1. Nicotine is a poison that can rewire teens' brains. 2. It can increase mood swings. 3. It can limit attention and learning. So even when it comes in new tech, nicotine is brain poison. Go to undo.org for more.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on June 21st for National Smoothie Day. We're treating our Tropic Rewards members to a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Order an app, online, or pop by the cafe for a little sip and chill. 3 cheers to our Tropic fam. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ah, the sweet feelings of summer. The kiss of warm sun on your skin. The softly scented breeze blowing through the trees. Don't worry, you have Off Clean Feel, fragrance-free mosquito repellent that feels good on skin, so even mosquitoes can't ruin those sweet feelings of summer. Off Clean Feel. Prevention is the best protection from mosquitoes.
At the Good Feet store, we take pain very seriously. Whether in the foot, knee, hip, or back, Good Feet makes over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes of pain-relieving arch supports. With 26 bones, 30 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments in each foot, a lot can go painfully wrong. So there's a trained arch support specialist at each Good Feet store to give you a precision fit. Come in for a free fitting and test walk. No appointment necessary. Good Feet arch supports are HSA, FSA eligible.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com. Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140
or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
$15 more minutes with you. Getting your shout outs and closeouts ready. We know that there will be one shout out and closeout for everyone. You can say thank you to Malik, 916-339-1140. Text line, call line, and SAC chat. Chris, you see fair or foul, and we'll give our last thoughts on Malik in a second here. Barry Bonds had one word when Derek Jeter asked him what he would do if he faced Satchel Paige, one of the best pitchers ever. Barry just says, gone. That's all he says.
So good.
And everyone, the whole panel starts laughing and
Barry's like, what's funny?
Yeah. He says,
I didn't tell no jokes.
Right. He goes on to say, if I don't believe in myself, then you know how that saying goes. But I don't know how much you were able to catch the whole layout, but I did want to spend a little bit of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything that was done in a pretty great way. Yeah. And it was interesting because I was talking to some people about the situation and, hey, well, how do you feel about it? And that was you're celebrating. And I guess a word that somebody said when it comes to Juneteenth was someone says you're not celebrating Juneteenth, you're commemorating Juneteenth. And that's kind of how I feel about this situation, to see the teams in their Negro League jerseys. And I think it was awesome. But at the same time, I don't know how much it would have hit or how much impact it would have made if Reggie Jackson didn't say what he said. And, I don't necessarily think we need to play the audio. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. Reggie Jackson just kind of profiling really just a bit of his life.
What it was like.
Yeah. And it was completely uncensored. I'm sure the producer was scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. But I do think there are times where people need to be told the real. And we had this conversation with Dave when we were discussing, Jackie Robinson and how real was that movie, or how real do you want to make it when these things happen, because you want kids to be able to watch. But there is a level of people need to know what really went down. Yes. And I'm not trying to, I don't think political is the right word, but the whole situation of we're those history books or this or that, we don't want people to know. Yeah, well, you're hiding. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And there's certain things that you want to stay hidden. And Reggie Jackson wasn't allowing that to happen. Reggie Jackson spoke his mind, and he did it in a way where, I don't think anybody necessarily knew what was going to happen. And that's what happens when you ask people questions.
Yes. Sometimes you ask a question. Don't be afraid when you get the real answer.
You are going to get the real answer. So if you haven't caught that audio, be sure to check it out. And it really just shows how things were back in the day, because you can sit there and you can celebrate it and commemorate it and all of these things. But let's not forget how rough those times were. And let's also not forget it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. So just wanted to say that. I know this has been a really fun show, and not trying to switch the mood or anything like that, but I would be remiss not to bring up what a great job Fox did and the history that they were able to show all the Negro Leagues players there. You had Willie Mays' son there as well. Everything they did.
John Baptiste killed it.
So it was great stuff. The panel did a great job.
Did you like that half inning where I think it was only a half inning where they did the retro cam?
I didn't mind it. A lot of people said it could have just been one batter and the half inning was too much. People just like to complain. People just like to complain. It was dope. Yeah, it's one game a year. It's one game a year. One inning. Yeah. One half an inning.
Yeah. And it gave you a vibe of like what it would have looked like if we, it was meant to be a time portal, and it definitely did that effect for sure. To me, it made it hit more so than anything else, because they said they renovated the field, and the field looked incredible. It definitely did. I know they said they brought in the dimensions and all that stuff, but to me, it was a part of, I kind of was wondering, like, why didn't they offer like a version of, hey, this is a throwback game, like let's try and make it look of the style. So I thought it was really well done across the board. I thought the whole, bringing out all the Negro League players that were still alive. They had that 99-year-old man.
Yeah, and he has seen some stuff,
he was like, he played with Willie Mays. I think he said he was Willie's mentor at one point. Yeah, he served in a couple wars and and I think it said he was also like neighbor. He grew up across the street from Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was awesome to kind of recognize all of those guys who had played in the Negro leagues, and definitely for them to get those moments. And, as Willie has just passed, I think it's really great to acknowledge those guys while they are still alive, because, a big part of this whole the whole part of this entire experience was to try and shine light on something that, like you said, had kind of been hidden beforehand. And I thought it was a really good way of just making sure that every single one of those guys got a little bit of shine.
Yeah, Bill Greason, 99 years old, the oldest living Negro League player. He grew up across the street from Martin Luther King, took part in Battle of Iwo Jima, and 53 years as minister of Bethel Baptist Church. So he's not even retired.
No,
he
99, and they
99.
gave him like 3 minutes of television time.
That's right.
He was pretty good.
He was ready to go. He was ready to go. That was outstanding stuff. All right, shout outs and closeouts. If you want to shout out anybody other than Malik Monk, of course you can shout out Malik Monk. Thank you, Jay.
Sir.
My shout outs and closeouts, it's going to be more of a closeout, I guess, if you will, because this Malik Monk thing, we've eaten off it for a long time as far as the content is concerned. But I just want to give a shout out to Malik Monk and to close out this whole free agent situation. He was able to end it before there were any reports or anything like that.
Any gray hairs grew in our hair.
That's right.
Yeah,
and you know what? Obviously,
summer.
He's been in Sacramento for longer than I have, but I do think there's something to be said about some of us who move out to Sacramento and you don't know much about Sacramento. Obviously, Malik had come from L.A., right, by way of Charlotte. And, prior to that, I know he's from Arkansas. So shout out to Malik and shout out to the city for, continuing to grow and be a place where people want to be. I think Sacramento is one of the most appreciated cities probably in not just in California, but maybe in the nation. And something like this where Malik is willing to take less money with the California taxes, that says a lot about Malik Monk, says a lot about the city, and says a lot about the team and the organization and Mike Brown and Monte McNair and Vivek Ranadive. And Vivek loves to say we will not be second place to any other city. And on a day like today, a lot of teams were doing the Birdman hands and salivating at Malik Monk being available, who had more money to spend. And Malik said, no, Sacramento, I choose you. So that is my shout out to Malik Monk.
Yes, absolutely. Echo that 100%. Glad Malik was able to, we say he left some money on the table, and he definitely did, but he still did double his bag. Like, we can't forget that he is making a lot more money than he was making previously. So definitely shout out him, shout out his family as well. I'm sure that's going to go a long way. I just want to real quick shout out my softball team, man. We're 5-1 right now.
Wow.
Got the largest point differential in the league, won 13-1 yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah, things are looking up right now.
Yeah, and last but not least, shout out once again to Chris's buddy who gave me a couple gimmies on the golf course and allowed me to shoot probably a little bit better than I was supposed to. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. You have the Drive Guys up next with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. More Malik Monk talk. We know that you can't get enough, and that's why we are the flagship of your Sacramento Kings. Until Monday, secure the bag, light the beam. Thanks, Kyle.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go.